saves he made, I think all on Matthews, were insane. Absolutely nuts. But that's kind of who Jordan Binnington's been. And in the biggest moments, hockey does have a history of the very best getting it done. It's funny, for such a team game, for such a game of depth, for such a game of sacrifice, it is a constantly, I think, amazing to me that some of the best ever get it done in these biggest moments. And that's why you see the statue of Bobby Orr outside TD Garden last night. They showed it a couple of times, Orr flying through the air as he scores what is among the most iconic goals in NHL history, maybe number one. I don't know. It was in my life growing up. You had Crosby.
T-shirt with a picture of that on it.
You do, or your dad does?
I do.
That's you should. Crosby in 2010, right, in the Olympics. Maybe you remember Patrick Kane, and he scored in 2010 Stanley Cup. And now, absolutely, throw the goal that we saw last night onto it as the best player in hockey wins this tournament in overtime.
Great pass, McDavid scores! Connor McDavid wins it for Canada! And Jordan Binnington has done it again inside the TD Garden.
Yeah, and good on Sean McDonough for immediately going to Binnington, who what he did in overtime specifically is the only reason McDavid had that opportunity. Oddly, McDavid didn't have a very good game, by his own admission. First couple periods, he was kind of invisible. He let the puck get by him a couple times, jumped over a stick or couldn't get control. He just didn't look like himself. Maybe he was sick. Who knows?
Well, and the U.S. kind of made a pretty big mistake there at the end. They gave him
Absolutely.
space.
I mean, you can't give Connor McDavid that level of space. But isn't it funny, even after, not a great game by his standards, you put a guy like McDavid on the ice in overtime. And just how cool is it? Like, I'm watching. It's like, oh, it's just a McDavid-Matthews face-off. No big deal in overtime. Two of the best players in the game who, are going after each other. And I don't know if it was Matthews' fault or not.
Marner, who had the assist on
that.
I mean, it's, yeah.
Just seeing all those guys everywhere and all of the best in the game, they shined. McDavid, Marner, Matthews, McKinnon, Makar, other guys whose names start with something other than M. All of those guys played huge roles in the game last night. And obviously Binnington and Hellebuck, the two goalies. So, and then if you want another M, Sean McDonough. I thought McDonough did a phenomenal job last night, not just of calling the game, but of being an ambassador for the sport throughout the game. Talking about the way hockey is being played now, speaking specifically to casual or even non-fans who were joining him for the first time or the first time in a long time to watch something like this, and talking about the old days, talking about the new days, talking about the players and their stories. It was an awesome moment, and I loved everything about the whole beginning. Kudos to the fans in Boston. They barely booed. There was a smattering, according to McDonough, but by no means was that an international incident booing situation in Boston for the Canadian anthem. Didn't happen at all. I thought that was great. I thought it was awesome seeing first Wayne Gretzky and then seeing Micah Ruzioni come out, and Ruzioni wearing the Johnny Gaudreau jersey. If you guys don't know, Gaudreau was tragically killed along with his brother by a drunk driver right before this season began. So that was amazing. I mean, just each part of it was really phenomenally well done. I would have sort of enjoyed if Canada had brought out Bobby Orr beforehand, just to see how the Garden crowd would have reacted, because there's
conflicted.
They would have been very conflicted, right? Same if and McDonough mentioned it, if Marchand had scored the game winner. But the Orr thing,
they did boo Gretzky.
Well, as they should. I mean, that's just normal. That's definitely going to happen. He beat the Bruins twice in the Stanley Cup Finals. But I would say that Orr is a legend, right? So there was this deal when I was a kid where every time Bobby Orr would be introduced to the Garden crowd, they would cheer for 8 minutes, just to it would just keep going and going and going and going. I don't know if that would have still happened today, but I think I would have enjoyed, I don't know, just to see the conflict in that crowd. And then, I don't know, did you catch what the Canadian singer did as well? Because that was kind of interesting. Did you notice that she changed the lyrics to "O Canada"? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And there's, by the way, like a whole history of changing the lyrics to that song because it's translated. There are a couple of different varieties or variations on the way people read or sing that song. But she modified the second line. Instead of saying true patriot love in all of us command, she changed it to true patriot love that only us command. And I guess that was sort of a sign about Canadian pride and, that they were in charge and that there was no interest in becoming anything other than a sovereign state themselves. And so anyway, just the whole vibe of it, I thought was really, really incredible. And I do hope that it continues to, keep people interested in hockey. I got texts here from people who were watching last night and saying how great it was. That was a fun watch. Mike was right. That was bleeping amazing. I'm a fan now. And then there's a whole bunch of others on here. I can't read all of them. But, yeah, all of that and more. Hockey's an awesome sport, man. I know the Kraken have been disappointing. I know it's frustrating that they didn't have any players on those teams because they don't have anybody good enough to be on those teams, and that's a huge bummer. But that was phenomenal hockey last night. And the game isn't like that every night. It can't be. Nothing can. Nothing is going to capture that best-on-best moment the way last night did. But the game is pretty darn great game in, game out. And the guys do try hard every night, and they do put in that kind of effort, and they do respect the game. And I do love it. So it was awesome. And I was at 32 at the Kraken Ice Complex last night, which was a blast also, where my daughter, Avery, won the big raffle. How about that? A Kraken jersey signed by each member of the Kraken, including her big crush, which was super exciting. She's just sitting there looking to see where Riker Evans' name was. Didn't care about anything else. All right, that was last night. Today we will start turning the page towards baseball and trying to figure out what these Mariners look like as the Cactus League begins at noon. Stick around. We've got to talk about that and a whole lot more and everything else you need to know next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Clint Kubiak, your brand new OC, joining us right now in studio. What were some of the weapons here you were most intrigued by, or maybe you kind of started thinking once you knew you got the job, like,
obviously it starts with the quarterback. Really impressed with Gino, DK, Jax, Noah Fant. There's a lot of pieces to be excited about, but there's also going to be some new pieces we add to the roster. That's the really fun part of coaching is getting to be a part of guys' careers.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Febreze. It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Stream every Seattle sports show with the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on seattlesports.com.
It's time to go all in at Toyota of Kirkland. All in on the largest savings opportunities on the largest inventory of Tacomas, Tundras, Prius, and the BZ4X. The incredible team at Toyota of Kirkland is all in on your car buying experience. They'll set you up with a test drive and you can take that car home on the same day. Come on down to Toyota of Kirkland and get all in on the best deals with the best inventory. Check out their wonderful showroom today or go all in online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
O'Brien.
Calling all pickleballers, Champions of Change and Safeway announced a multi-city pickleball tournament, including celebrity games with Seahawk legends Doug Baldwin, Mike Bennett, Cliff Averill, and more. In collaboration, Nourishing Champions campaign will be raising awareness and accepting donations to provide nutritious foods for student athletes in under-resourced high schools. You can help by donating at your local Safeway checkout. Open to all. The tournaments are in Seattle, Lacey, and Spokane. Register today at championsofchangefoundation.org/pickleball.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, after a good week of build-up, U.S.-Canada lived up to the billing last night. All tied at 2 through 3 very intense periods. They headed to overtime. Goalie Jordan Binnington took over for Canada. 3 of the better saves you'll ever see in your life to keep Canada in the game. And then the best player in the world finished it in style.
Great pass, McDavid scores! Connor McDavid wins it for Canada! And Jordan Binnington has done it again inside the TD Garden.
Yeah, he sure did. Tremendous saves. McDavid, of course, coming up with the biggest goal in the biggest moment. He talked about just how great the tournament was.
It means everything. I think you saw everybody, lay it all on the line. I think the Kachuk bros were grinding through things. Sid grinding through something. Everybody, Harley stepping in again. Everybody laid it all out there. And it just means means the world to us to find a way to get it done. That's what we do.
Dynamic skater and player. I'm not sure if he's the most dynamic personality, but Connor McDavid
There
coming
really
up.
aren't any hockey players that are great interviews.
Not really their thing, but he did sure leave it all out on the ice, as they all did. The result, possibly frustrating, obviously, for Americans, but the whole tournament, an incredible success, from the fighting to the athleticism to the drama. I am excited to see the ratings later today when they come out, and just like I hoped after the 2010 Olympics, I hope again maybe this will move the needle for the NHL. Ray Ferraro broadcast the game last night with Sean McDonough, and he was just excited about the way the whole thing went.
But I got to tell you, Sean, this far exceeded anything that I thought was possible. This was a remarkable 10 days. The U.S. was fantastic in this tournament. Canada ends up winning it in overtime, and just a wonderful spectacle for this great game.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and we'll see where it goes next and what they're able to do to kind of, build this level of excitement and passion yet again. You got the Olympics next year, which does it naturally. You got the World Cup the year after that, and my guess is they will try to find something akin to what they did here rather than an all-star game, because this was about 1,000,000 times better.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
All right, opening day, at least in the Cactus League today. Mariners face who else but the Padres at noon. Expected pitchers, they include Jonathan Diaz. Let's let Dan Wilson explain.
Diaz will start tomorrow for us, and get some of the guys started here. With the starters, it's going to be short outings, and we got the pitching mapped up and lined up, and guys are getting opportunities to get out there, get their innings in, and I think we're set to go. It's just a matter of getting there and getting started.
A couple other guys will go today. That includes Cody Bolton, who pitched for the Mariners, made the opening day roster last year. Jesse Hahn. Drew Pomeranz would be the other name, I guess, may be familiar. He hasn't pitched in the big leagues in a few years, but used to be a pretty good reliever. Both Bolton and Pomeranz are two guys that I am at least curious to see. The team also announced their broadcast team for the season, and as expected, Rick Riz will return for his 40th season in the radio booth, joined by Gary Hill, plus Angie Mentink and Ryan Rowland-Smith. The TV pairing will consist of Aaron Goldsmith on a more regular basis, but with a rotation of Mentink and Rowland-Smith, plus Dave Valley and Jay Buhner, who is going to join us at 7:30 this morning, just over an hour from now. Excited for each one of those people individually. They all bring a little something different to each broadcast. I'm excited for the variety, and really, really cool deal for the Mariners and their broadcast crew. Unfortunately, that does signal the end of an era. Mike Blowers ends his time in the booth after 17 seasons, which almost exactly coincides with my time here. I mean, I've been here. This will be my 16 years, so I think he just did it for 2 years regularly before I got here. And, Mariners games won't be the same. I love listening to Blow. I love his insight into the game. Just a really smart guy. I think he and Aaron together are especially entertaining and humorous, and I love the way he gives Aaron grief. Big Mike Blowers fan, and will definitely miss having him on the broadcast every day.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Yesterday marked the second John Schneider show of the season on the Wyman and Bob program, and there was plenty to discuss. Right now is kind of go time, and free agent talks will really get going during the combine. He explains why.
We'll find out exactly, what are other people looking at? Other free agents, they want to make X, right? They want to make this guy, we thought player X wants to make $8 million, right? We find out, actually he's going to make $4. By the end of the weekend, we kind of say, the agent may come back to us and be like, hey, this guy's, not going to have the market that we thought. And then you can say, then maybe there won't be another cap casualty, right? But honestly, every $1 million is huge for us, right? You're just constantly moving this puzzle around, so we're trying to decide if we can keep you both. It doesn't affect it as much as you would think, but there are surprises every year, after we get done talking to everybody, and you can say, if that individual wants to make $10 million, we're out of that. So we're going to have to pivot and go over here.
Yeah, just an opportunity to really figure out who's looking for what, as John says, and trying to play matchmaker with yourself and the other potential dance partners. Look, it makes sense, especially in a salary cap world. Even with that salary cap going up, you have certain amounts you're willing to allocate for specific players and specific positions. And we'll play some more sound of John over the course of the morning as he goes a little bit deeper into some of those decisions as well. That's everything you need to know. And of course, we do that quarter past every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. It's Friday, which usually just means Friend Day. Lots of friends of the show coming on. So that means Jay Buhner at 7:30 today. Shannon Drayer will join us at 8 o'clock. Her first hit from spring training. Looking forward to that. 8:30, G. Scott will wander his way in from the other side of the building here. And then at 9 o'clock, Stacey Rost will stop by. And then at 9:30, we'll let you guys take over, as always, and get some of your thoughts, whether it's on the hockey game last night, the start of spring training today, or spring training games today, I should say, or anything else that's on your mind as we start to head into free agency and the rest of the offseason in the NFL. So should be a fun day for some calls at 9:30. All right. Yesterday, we learned a little bit more about this top-rated farm system of the Mariners. Eric Longenhagen took us through the best players in it, the style and reasons why they've been as successful as they are, and how far away some of these guys are from contributing. There's a lot of really good stuff in here. Maybe the Felnine-Celestine thoughts are as interesting as any of them. So stick around. You'll hear all of it next. It's Brock and Salk. Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
We've been going position group by position group. We move on to safeties, Dave. So you got Julian Love, who's entering the first year of a 3-year extension. He had a great season. You got Kobe Bryant in the final year of his rookie deal. Rayshon Jenkins is the most likely cap casualty here because he's got a $7.9 million cap hit. And if they release him, they save $5.4 million. He had some plays, but he didn't have $7.9 million cap hit plays.
I agree. Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage de nouvelles langues. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
When you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Just Cause Legal knows the value of standing up for what's right. If you've been involved in a car crash, Just Cause Legal is here to fight for you with an aggressive team dedicated to securing the compensation you deserve. Just Cause Legal makes the process as painless as possible. Don't wait. Time is critical. Get the help needed today. Visit justcauselegal.com or call 253-859-8899 and meet your legal lifesavers. Just Cause Legal, fighting for you.
It's Comedy Night at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center, Sunday, May 4th, with Michael Blaustein.
My gym costs $9 a month. Guys, I go to the gym for the same price as an airport muffin.
Tickets at emeraldqueen.com.
So, I'm obviously single.
Don't miss this hilarious high-energy show. Michael Blaustein, May 4th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older. Need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Steamers get stolen. A steamer is a car running unoccupied to warm up or stay warm during cold temperatures. Every winter, Washington State sees an uptick in auto theft, and a major reason is steamers. So do not leave your car running unoccupied. You won't see it again. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. Don't get caught with your car running. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
Start the year fresh with Washington Energy's New Year, New Home Sales event. Upgrade and save 15% on energy-efficient Bryant heating systems for your home. Keep cozy and safe this winter storm season with 15% off Honeywell whole home generators. Prepare for spring with 15% off beautiful Anderson windows and reliable Simonton doors. All on sale now for a limited time. It's the New Year, New Home Sales event with Washington Energy Services, bringing good energy to your home.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports at 97.3 FM HD2.
Just a couple days, man. I'm getting pictures from the desert now, in addition to everything we've seen from Ryan Divish and Daniel Kramer and folks that have been down there already. Shannon got down there yesterday, so we're starting to see some of Shannon's pictures and videos as well. She will join us tomorrow. You know who else is going to join us tomorrow? I don't have a time yet. I got to work through some of these times. So busy day tomorrow. I know. G will be here, of course, at 8:30. Shannon's going to join us as well. And Jay Buhner is going to be with us tomorrow. Yes. I sent Jay a text yesterday congratulating him on the new gig in television, and he wrote back, "Save it." For whatever reason, it just totally cracked me up. Like, I don't want your congratulations. Just save it.
He didn't punch you in the kidneys there. No, that was back in the old studio
over here. He just hit me right in the kidneys. Anyway, he was like, "Yeah, come on Friday." So I got to work out the times with Jay later. But I will tell you, there is no bigger fan of Jay Buhner on the broadcast than me. I love it. I love when Jay is on the broadcast. I've really missed it the last few years. I know there's some people that don't necessarily, maybe there's some polarization there with Jay's style because it's different. It reminds me of Dennis Eckersley, who's got kind of a similar style and his own verbiage and just a kind of different energy than almost anything else you will hear. I don't know how many games it'll be. I'm sure it'll be all the games that are in Houston and in Texas against the Rangers. But I'm excited for that, man.
Yeah,
I really
think
am.
one advantage this time around compared to the last times that Jay has done that, and I'm thinking about if I was in the broadcast booth and the coach or the manager was a former teammate of mine for so many years, as Dan and Jay were together under Lou and you know, building up so much of that Mariners brand and the success that the organization knew, how much different that would be in a booth for me. Like, I know this guy. Like, I genuinely went to battle with this guy for years and years and years, and I think that will open up maybe even more unique perspectives for Jay and his relationship with Dan.
Yeah, and you know, just as it was for Blowers as well. I mean, I think that was an interesting part of that also. So, in any event, looking forward to talking to Jay. I know he's down there already. Saw some shots of him working with the guys yesterday. Mike Cameron is down there. Alvin Davis is down there. You know, Michael Saunders, as we've mentioned, all the Mariner greats. Michael Saunders now working with the team as well. So some of the older generations are there. But part of the thrill of going down is to see the youngest generation, the guys who haven't even made this team yet. Some of the non-roster invitees this year are they're pretty impressive. And part of this big group that Keith Law said was the number one prospect farm system in the league. So let's hear a little bit more about it. Eric Longenhagen from Fangraphs comes incredibly highly recommended from Jeff Passan. I shouldn't even read the Passan text that he sent. I mean, the build up and the hype.
Does Eric know the pressure he's under?
He's under a lot of pressure. I mean, when Jeff says something like that, that is a big deal.
He didn't say that about many.
No.
I mean, he didn't say that about Kirkjian. He doesn't say that about Morosi. He would never say that about anybody else.
He just talks trash about those guys.
Yes.
Eric, are you prepared to live up to the incredible high hype that Jeff Passan gave you?
Oh, well, no doubt. But you have to understand that I wrote that text message and just know where the bodies are buried. This is how these things happen. Like, you
good start.
In sports media long enough to know that this is how these things transpire. But yes, Jeff, whose hair I made in the laboratory, had that text message written for him.
Wow, pretty cool. All right, so let's dig into this, Eric, and kind of talk through this system. Let's just start broadly, and then we'll start to dig into some of the specifics, and especially what we'll get an opportunity to see when we're down there next week. But how good is the Mariner system in general?
Well, I think it's very good. I think it's good for a couple reasons. One is their draft strategy to take these high upside high school hitters, to lean into overslot bonuses early and then have their pick of the litter as far as like the senior signs in the draft class go has been a very fruitful strategy. And it's why you see so many high upside young hitters at the top of their farm system. And then they're great at developing pitching. And so when so many of these high priority seniors are pitching, guys like Hunter Cranton, Brock Moore from Oregon last year, were two of my favorites. And then you apply like good dev to those pitchers, and then they get there fast. And so they have, depth in pitching, which you need, and upside in hitting, which you need if you're going to tussle with some of these titans of the industry who have these impact everyday players who they're buying and are like pitching factories, the Yankees and the Dodgers and whoever. The Mariners have found a way to sort of do a version of that within the confines of their budget, at least on the amateur side of scouting.
Eric, is it possible to, at the same time, blend together the development of your arms with the development of your bats? Because I think most Mariner fans listening right now are going, Eric, I get it. The guy whose hair you created and manufactured and built has told us, like, you're wasting this rotation, you're waiting because the bats aren't there. Is it possible to, at some point, blend together these two, both the arms and these young bats?
I guess I do wonder, the way the budget of the big league roster has seemingly been constrained to what it has been, to the point where, Josh Rojas is getting non-tendered so that Jorge Polanco can be brought back at the number he's brought back at, and Dylan Moore, who's on a contending roster, is ideally like your super utility guy, is sort of thrust into everyday action. These are issues at the ownership level. So, whether that means Logan Gilbert and George Kirby and Luis Castillo can coexist in the rotation while you also add to your offense, it's difficult to say. Obviously, really the big addition was Randy Arozarena at last year's deadline. Most of the hitters in the system are far enough away. Like the guys who could be real impact players, not like Cole Young, I like fine. But like Johnny Farmello and Ty Pete and, these guys are years away to the point where I'm not sure there's going to be overlap with the stud rotation guys and these hitters when they get to the big leagues and then make the adjustments to be great. We're still years away from that probably, so maybe not.
Yeah, that is the challenge, right? It's not just when Colt Emerson comes to the big leagues. It's when does he become an impact player in the big leagues. So give me kind of a rough time frame for those guys, whether it's Emerson, Pete, Farmelo, Felding, Celestine. I mean, like, I love a lot of these guys. When are they impact players if they're going to get there? What's a reasonable time frame for that?
Right. I think it wouldn't surprise me if Cole Young is up this year and is fine. Like, if by July, Cole Young is obviously just the organization's best option at second base, it would not surprise me. Emerson, and to a degree, Lazaro Montes, those are the guys where I feel like they're going to get punched in the face initially upon promotion to the big leagues, because those two guys, their issues are velocity up and away from them, like right-handed fastballs riding up and away from them, especially for Montes, which is why Montes was not on my top 100. Like, it's a big problem for both of those guys. The way their bat path traverses the zone, those riding righty fastballs up and away from them are kind of an issue. And guess what? There are a lot of at the major league level. There are 96-mile-an-hour right-handed fastballs riding up and away from left-handed hitters. And truly, like, especially when you're hitting at Modesto and you're hitting at Everett, your home park is a bandbox. Spokane is a bandbox. Eugene is a bandbox where you're playing. Your offensive numbers get inflated, and our expectations for some of these guys, I fear, is a little out of whack. And so I think it's going to take a long time. You just cannot replicate the big league pitching environment at all in the minor league levels, and especially not at low A and high A where guys are sitting 90, 91. You go whole big league games without seeing a fastball below 95 miles an hour. And over the course of a season, Laz Montes and Colt Emerson have maybe seen, 150 or 200 fastballs of that velocity or more over a whole season. And that's like 2 weeks in the big league. So there are some unanswerable questions about any hitting prospect. They go from playing on All Pro to All Madden when you go from AAA to the big leagues, and there's just no way of knowing how you're going to adjust to that. Truly, there's really no way. So the question, it's a good one. I don't have a great answer for you, but I do think, like, Young is the one who's most polished and in position to make an impact on the club relatively soon.
Do I have my bio right? You were an Iron Pig?
I was, yes. I was an original Iron Pig intern in 2008.
Wow. Where was that?
Yeah, it was in Allentown, Pennsylvania. It was 10 minutes from the house where I grew up. It was summer after my freshman year at St. Joe's. And being part of an organization that won the World Series that year when I'm 19 years old and the youngest intern, and it was my first year in baseball. Now I've been in half my life.
That's pretty cool. So we can talk about the hitters and some of the challenges in their developmental process. You just cannot argue the development that the Mariners have done with their arms, from Miller to Wu to Logan and Kirby, and they were all over the board: first rounders, third rounders, mid rounders. So do you see another Wu? Do you see another Logan? Do you see another, is Logan Evans that next guy in the developmental just arsenal of these Seattle Mariners?
Yeah, I think Ryan Sloan, high schooler from York, Illinois, who they drafted last year, he checks all the boxes. Came into pro ball a little bit more physically mature. You could see the component parts, his athleticism, how beautiful his delivery was the summer before his senior year. He was sitting like 91, 93, and then he came out during his senior spring and was like bumping 98. So the arrow was already pointing way, way up. Obviously, pitching once a week in high school is different than the grind of pro ball, and so we'll see whether or not that holds up. But they've been able. That was true of George Kirby at Elon too. Like, all right, yeah, you're facing mid-tier conference guys once a week. Let's see how this goes every fifth day, and he's a stud. So I think Ryan Sloan is a name to watch. Obviously, Durangelo Sainja the switch pitcher they drafted out of Mississippi State. And Saint has been a guy since high school because he was such a sideshow, switch pitching, touching 95 from the right side. What they do with him is going to be very interesting, see how much of that they let air out. But any of these surface scratching, tip of the iceberg type guys where you were a reliever at a small school or you only moved into the rotation later, whatever it was, those tip of the iceberg types, the teams that are best at developing pitchers are the ones who draft those guys and they accentuate the stuff that their college programs were not able to accentuate before. And Mississippi State has good pitching dev. Most of the SEC does. But for St. John let's say he only pitches right-handed, for him to only start doing that now as he enters pro ball, who knows what his ceiling might be, considering his stuff is already so good. And so those are the two guys. And then I mentioned Brock Moore coming out of Oregon. He's the fifth-year senior, 200K, 6'6", 230. He only moved into Oregon's rotation at the very end of the year. I saw him in the Pac-12 tournament, rest in peace Pac-12. And he was holding, 96, 98 until the very end of his start. It was like 100 degrees, it's the middle of the day. It's just a weird start time. It's the Pac-12 tournament, and here's this guy, pumping 96 still in the fifth, sixth inning, having only just moved into the rotation. He's 24, but I don't care so much about that. Like, he's going to be in the big leagues pretty quickly if he can continue to do that. So Brock Moore is another name to watch out for from last year's draft.
A couple more minutes here with Eric Longenhagen from Fangraphs, talking Mariners prospects. When we do get down there next week, we're going to get an opportunity to see a bunch of these guys at big league camp. Montez, Colt Emerson, Cole Young, Ben Williamson, Michael Arroyo specifically. And then I'm sure we're going to find our way over to a backfield for no other reason than to just get a look at Felnine Celestine, who's, I think, as exciting as any of these guys. Maybe if I could run through them each quickly, tell me what I should be looking for. Like, when I go see Las Montez, what should I be looking for to see what he's doing well and what he needs in order to get to the big leagues?
Can he cover those fastballs up and away from him? Okay. He's a corner bat who had a sub 70% contact rate in A-ball last year. The measurable raw power was not what you'd expect for a guy who hit 23 home runs. Again, it's just more the hitting environment than his talent. They did a great job of cleaning up his body. He's much more svelte now than when he first came over here, but I'm just concerned that there's not enough offense there to profile every day in a corner. So it's those fastballs away from him.
How about Colt Emerson? What am I looking for?
Sort of the same stuff and more just how does he look on defense? The injury stuff, I think, played a factor last year. He was just heavy-footed, slow on defense, did not think he could play shortstop at all based on the look on film last year. He can hit enough that I don't care. Second, third base, fine. But does that rebound coming off of injury?
How about Cole Young?
Same thing, basically. Does his swing look knowing that he had nagging wrist issues last year?
Okay, and then
Felnine Celestine.
Yeah, what about if I go see Felnine Celestine? What am I looking for with the kid?
Is he elevating the baseball more? That's the one weird thing in the data from last year where he's got like a 2-degree average launch angle, and there's just no big leaguer. There's just no big leaguer who has a launch angle that low, and I'm not like a big, oh my God, what's his launch angle guy? But it is weird when there's no other big leaguer like that.
Yes.
And so obviously he was hurt too, and it's a small sample, so it's less reliable. But what's going on with that? Watching him in person plenty last year during extended spring, and then in the complex before he was shut down, I think he's fine.
Some call that a 2-iron stinger. Some call it a stinger. What's wrong with a 2-iron stinger?
Hey, ask Vladdy Guerrero Jr. Like, he doesn't elevate it. It's going fine.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Brock, you're right about that, though. If you can hit the stinger and make it work, it's all that much. But fewer people hit the 1 and 2 iron these days compared to the old days. All right, Eric, thank you. We really appreciate it. We are going to spend some time looking at all these guys when we're down there and trying to get a sense of what the future may be like. And it sounds like it's pretty bright. We appreciate it. And you guys can find Eric at Fangraphs. Thanks so much, man. We'll talk again.
Thanks for having me. I'll send you guys a minor league schedule.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. There you go. And he did. He sent us a minor league schedule soon after that interview. So we're ready. We're ready. And I am excited to see all of those guys we mentioned and a few others. Williamson is going to be on my mind. Ben Williamson, I want to see him. Partly just because the defense is supposed to be so spectacular that that I want to check that out. And then I think we could see him at some point this year. So he's another guy that's on my list. So I got a bunch of different things I want to do today, but I got like an extra 5 or 6 minutes right here. So I thought I would make a little comparison. And it's not the same comparison that you're hearing everywhere, although I guess I could give you a little of that as well. So the hockey, again, last night, but throughout this whole little random tournament was unbelievable, right? The story of this Four Nations face-off, yeah, it'll be Canada winning. Maybe it'll be the 3 fights. But I think ultimately what it is just how much these guys battled, right? How intense they were about something that has no history whatsoever. They manufactured a little tournament for these 4 countries to play in instead of an all-star break, and the guys just randomly took it incredibly seriously because that's what hockey's all about. Nathan McKinnon, who was for Team Canada, was named the MVP of the tournament. He said that it's been great for hockey.
I think it does a lot. I think it was much more popular than even we would have imagined. It was getting so much attention from, our whole continent. It was pretty cool, just the build up over the last 3 days of Canada versus USA. So obviously a lot of stuff going on with Canada and the USA right now, and us playing against each other was kind of a perfect storm for our sport, and it's great to have new eyeballs on it.
It did all sort of work out that way, right? With the news and the hockey all sort of coming together, and they did it all at the exact right time. There's nothing else going on in sports. I mean, what a perfect time to do it. Baseball hasn't really started yet. The NFL is in its deadest period before even free agency starts, but after the Super Bowl. Basketball was taking its own all-star break where the players and the league decided to do absolutely nothing.
Put together an unwatchable all-star game.
I mean, just an unwatchable product in general, but gets even worse for the all-star game. And so it stands out, right? When you see guys playing 100 miles an hour, doing everything in their power for a game that they're not even being paid for. Unbelievable. Right. I mean, again, it's such a special sport and the guys are so special that it makes perfect sense. You're seeing a lot of comps to the NBA. Understandably, the 2 sports play at the same time, roughly. The seasons overlap, and they do seem to have somewhat of an opposite ethos. PK Subban, who was a tremendous hockey player in his own right, did go on a bit of a rant about the NBA and those players not playing at the same level of effort that you see in hockey.
I'm sick and tired of making athletes greats, all-time greats, that aren't the best examples. They got to understand the importance of showing up to the All-Star game and being on the court and playing banged up sometimes and playing injured maybe at times. Thank you. And participating, because here's the thing. Because you're making 100, 200, 300 million, you should be out there banged up. You should be. That's why we pay you, is to max out. We talk about greatness and it being the longevity of somebody's career. I don't care if you play 50 years. I want your best 10. I want you on the court dominating. I want you to go all out. I want Michael Jordan. I want Kobe. That's what I want in every sport. That's the guy that I follow. You're a different version than that, you don't get my respect.
Yeah, so that's generating a lot of publicity, a lot of heat, obviously, and for good reason. And I will say that PK is in somewhat of a unique position to be able to comment on that and to kind of go down that road because, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday, because of the demographic differences between the NBA and the NHL specifically. I think some of that can get taken as more than just a comment on the 2 sports, depending on who's delivering the commentary. And as one of the few black players who've really risen to prominence in the NHL game over the years, PK's out of it now. I mean, he's just doing commentary. He's 35 years old. He's in I think a little bit better position to comment on that. And so maybe his what he said carries a little bit more weight. The NBA comp is fine. I'm actually going to make a comp with baseball, and not because one game cares and one game doesn't or anything like that. But it struck me that ESPN, which for a decade plus completely ignored this game, completely. It was as if hockey had fallen off the map, and ESPN just ended all association with it whatsoever. When hockey went to NBC and off of ESPN, the worldwide leader was like, see ya, you don't exist. We're going to get rid of all but one or two people here who even watch the sport. We won't mention the sport. We won't do anything to promote the sport. You're done. And contrast that to SportsCenter spending its entire day live at the Garden and everything they did afterwards with the postgame. They went all in on again, a meaningless Four Nations championship that didn't exist before a couple of weeks ago. You may have noticed the other story yesterday that baseball is mutually deciding to end its association with ESPN. And apparently the commissioner is not happy with the level of coverage that he's received for the money that's being spent, this, that, and the other. ESPN is more than happy to say, sure, we're done. Careful what you wish for. ESPN is not what it was 20 years ago. It's not as powerful as it was 20 years ago when it was the only game in town. And if you didn't have a relationship with ESPN, you were toast, as the NHL found out for a long time. It's not as big a deal as it once was. But it's still ESPN. It's still the worldwide leader. And for them to end that association that's been going on most of my life, very curious to see how ESPN handles that. Are they still going to employ Buster and Jeff and everybody else? They spend a lot of money on people that are specific to baseball. Those guys still going to be working there in another year or so? We'll see. Because ESPN has shown before, if they don't have the rights to your property, they don't care about you. Not uncommon in the media business, trust me. I'm sure that there's some people making thoughts and comments about our station right now. But it's true. People do tend to talk a whole lot more about the leagues that they have a relationship with. And ESPN is very powerful. Be very, very careful what you wish for. All right, speaking of baseball, it comes out and starts today with the Cactus League. Daniel Kramer has been on fire for Mariners.com, and he confirmed a couple of things in his article yesterday that I'm not sure I realized were as set in stone as he made them out to be. We'll go through it next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710 and SeattleSports.com.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
What part of football has changed, and do you like it?
2-point conversions. Like, we are chasing points. The game has changed. 2-point conversions and fourth downs. So we're seeing coaches dive into the data like a lot of people do with baseball. And I like it, and it is weird at the same time because I'm not used to seeing these fourth down conversions or attempts and these 2-point conversions.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Discover LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Lee Johnson Auto Family. This is King. This organization's a special one. They call it the Lee Johnson Auto Family, and it's not just a name, it's not just some cliche. They foster an environment for us to become a family, to work together, to really become close, and they show us in a lot of different ways that they do value us. Is it perfect? No, no place is. But I've been very thankful to be here in the almost 10 years and have every plan to stay here for a lot longer and just watch it continue to grow.
He's fun and professional, which explains why so many people visiting Lee Johnson Kia ask for him by name. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Febreze. It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades. Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here again. Over the years, I've seen way too many timeshare exit companies pop up, take folks' money, and disappear. I just saw an ad from an exit company started by a couple of bozos that used to work for me. My advice, don't hire bozos out fire. Want out of your timeshare? Call me, and I'll send you our free timeshare exit info kit explaining your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free kit, 800-949-1441. 800-949-1441.
The sound of summer is back. Dave Matthews Band Live. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. Produced by Live Nation.
When it comes to your roof, you need an expert on your side, and Asset Roofing is on mine. Let them work for you, too. You can find out more at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Something amazing is happening at work. Innovative tools are helping people do better work. That's because CDW configuration specialists are multiplying productivity with Microsoft Windows 11 Pro Surface devices. Built-in security, flexibility, and simplified management streamline tasks so your team can get more done. Microsoft and CDW make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/surface.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
I hate to steal Shannon Drayer's thunder because she'll be with us in an hour, but there is the first lineup of the spring. The Mariners play at noon today, our time, against the Padres, of course, in their Cactus League opener. And we've got a lineup. It's a pretty good one. Pitching is not going to be a lot of your stars. Jonathan Diaz will start that game. But how about this for a first game of spring training lineup? Crawford at short, Julio in center, Cal Raleigh catching, Randy Arozarena in left, Mitch Garver DHs, Canzone in right, Locklear at first, Shenton at third, and Ryan Bliss at second base. So everyone in that lineup has at least got some major league service time. And the first, 4 or 5 guys are supposed to be regulars in your lineup every day this year. Crawford, Rodriguez, Raleigh, Arozarena for sure. You'll see some Mitch Garver. And Canzone was a starter last year for much of the year. We saw Tyler Locklear and expect to again this season. And Ryan Bliss probably on the opening day roster as well. So, yeah, that's a whole bunch of dudes that will get an opportunity right off the bat today in the first spring training game of the season, Cactus League action. Daniel Kramer has been on fire the last couple days for Mariners.com, and he's got 2 things in yesterday's article that jumped out to me. The article is all about the offseason. It kind of goes back in terms of what happened before. Also having some quotes here from Cal Raleigh and J.P. Crawford, a couple of leaders that you're looking at to see how they handled the lack of activity this offseason. And I'll start there, and then I'll get into some of what he actually reported, which is interesting. Let me give you the quotes. First from Cal, guys know what's going on. It's what we do. It's our livelihood. We are part of the Mariners. As much as guys say, I don't pay attention to that stuff, they're lying because everybody pays attention because we care. We care about it. We want to win, and we care about this team. Everybody here does. So, yeah, we understand what people are saying. Okay. To me, that's a pretty good answer from Cal. He's not tipping his pitch really in any way. He's not saying I'm happy. He's not saying I'm mad. He's saying, yeah, I know what's going on. Yeah, we followed it. Now we're all here. J.P. Crawford goes on and says, obviously with social media, you can't not look at it, but that's not my job. I'm here to play shortstop. Whoever you get, you get. Whoever you don't get, I trust every guy in here. Everyone puts in their work here. You've got to respect that about every player. Great quotes. Honestly, kudos to those two leaders. It's exactly what you want to hear. I don't know how they really feel, right? It's not necessarily something that they're going to share with us publicly, but that's exactly what I want the leaders of this team to say, because regardless of whether they're frustrated or not, this is the team they've got. And they've got to go out there and try to make the absolute best of it. And the leaders of this team are not going to succeed in convincing management or general manager or anybody else to do anything differently. They need to, certainly not by saying anything publicly about it.
They should pass that along to Tristan Casas.
That's really his job. Yeah, but isn't this exactly what you want so that you don't end up in a Casas situation? Remember, it was just a couple days ago, Casas decided to weigh in and play GM/manager and explain where he thought everybody should be playing and everything else. Like, dude, shut up. This is the opposite of that. Yeah, we paid attention. We know what's going on. We're here. This is my team. These are my brothers. Let's go. That's exactly what you want from a couple of leaders. So kudos to Cal, kudos to J.P. Crawford. Not that they need it, but just absolutely handled perfectly, and I would expect that to continue throughout the spring. Now, he also, Daniel Kramer goes through exactly what the Mariners did try to do this offseason and what they didn't. So I'll read from this a little bit. On the free agent front, we knew some of this, but he has some specifics. Mariners were at the finish line with Carlos Santana before he decided to return to Cleveland for a one-year, $12 million deal for less than what Seattle offered, a one-year deal with an option and more guaranteed money. Wow. He just didn't want to be here. Just didn't want to be a part of it. Among other first basemen, the Mariners pursued Christian Walker early. I didn't know that. Did you? I didn't know that was a thing, that like the Mariners pursued him. I'm not surprised. Obviously, they had needs at first base, but we didn't have any information that the Mariners pursued him. He says, but they quickly moved on, knowing his price tag would eventually reach the 3-year, $60 million deal that he received from Houston. Okay? Well, so much for that thought. Pete Alonso, who wound up signing a shorter deal than expected with the Mets, still netted $54 million, made him unrealistic from the outset. So it sounds like they didn't really talk much to Pete Alonso. On the trade market, Dipoto and Hollander were forced to constantly pivot. They pursued Cubs infielder Nico Horner, Red Sox first baseman Tristan Casas, and Phillies third baseman Alec Boehm, each of whom stayed put, given that their teams were seeking MLB-ready talent and not prospects. Okay. So the conversations about Luis Castillo, it sounds like, weren't really all that serious, at least according to this article, right? That, hey, talk to the Red Sox. What do you guys need? Tristan Casas, maybe a fit. And we're looking for guys that are ready to play in the majors right now. Well, we're not interested in doing that. Okay. So I guess maybe that doesn't take Luis Castillo off the table. He's obviously major league ready, but it means that it didn't get all that close. Seattle was more interested, he writes, in Nathaniel Lowe, whom Texas dealt out of the division to Washington. Interesting. I wonder what happened there. He went for prospects, right? What did they get back there? Can you look that up for me?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. I'll look it up right now.
It wasn't a lot.
I'm guessing Texas didn't want to trade him in the division, but I really like Nathaniel Lowe. I always have as a hitter.
Yeah, he's a good hitter. He's a good player. He's somebody we talked about at the trade deadline last year, too. And,
It was Nathaniel Lowe for Robert Garcia.
Oh, yeah, he's a reliever.
You couldn't have beat that? It feels like you could have. If that's a player you really wanted, and like, hey, maybe they just were not going to trade him in the division, and so it was a non-starter. But if you were super interested, that does seem like maybe there was a spot to improve your team, and he would have improved the team. He's a good player. The Mariners, he writes, even considered Cody Bellinger, who was instead traded from Chicago to the Yankees. I'm glad they didn't go too deep into that one. I'm very concerned about Cody Bellinger's future. Anyway, he writes, so still needing 2 infielders in mid-January, Seattle signed 37-year-old Donovan Solano and a bounce-back candidate from last year's team, Jorge Polanco, to 1-year deals. And as it stands, the Mariners' opening day lineup will look almost identical to the one with which they finished 2024. Yeah, so I found it to be interesting to hear kind of what they actually tried to do. I don't know how hard they tried all of those things. What does it mean? I mean, in Santana's case, they offered more. He wasn't interested. That is a recurring problem, right? That's the same as the Trevor Story problem, but on a much lower level. You got to find a way to make that not keep happening. I know it takes 2 to tango, but that's where these 2 stories, to me, start to become related. Right? The story of the team players, et cetera, saying, yes, we pay attention to what happens. And the story of free agents saying, yeah, thanks, not interested. Those 2 things may be related. And you got to find a way to separate that. You got to find a way to make sure that you get those free agents in order to stop this process of, yeah, I'm going to sign somewhere else for less. That's not what you're looking for.
I feel like it stings a little more with guys like Carlos Santana and Justin Turner, too.
Who've been here?
You rave about like the veteran leadership that they brought. They're not that expensive.
Yep.
And they just say, no, thank you.
Yeah, it's brutal. I mean, it hurts. Okay, Christian Walker, you didn't have the money. You know, we can debate whether or not they could have found the money for Christian Walker. But if that was going to go anywhere similar to how these other conversations and negotiations have gone, he was going to want even more. He was going to want more here than he ended up getting in Arizona. You could have paid that. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't have. I'm not saying that they handled that the right way. I'm just saying that these 2 things have to be linked, I think, in some way. And that is up to them at some point to try to get over it. So that's what Daniel Kramer had. Good stuff. He's been doing an awesome job reporting from spring training, and we're looking forward to heading down there. Obviously, the show will be there all of next week. Jay Buhner is going to join us in 20 minutes from Arizona. Shannon at 8 o'clock. We got a lot of baseball content today. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710 and seattlesports.com.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans?
With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Hey, do you like spending extra money? Who doesn't, right? No, nobody does, and especially when it's on something like your utility bills, right? If those are noticeably higher in the winter or your home feels drafty, it could be because your attic and crawl space aren't properly insulated. It's Mike Salk here, and utility companies have special incentives to help with the cost of having your home properly insulated, including a once-in-a-lifetime rebate from Puget Sound Energy. So if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you may qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Yeah, they'll cover up to 95% of the cost. So don't wait. Take advantage of an incredible rebate today. Call Crawl Pros and learn what's going on behind that crawl space and attic hatch for free, and also what energy rebates you're eligible for. These guys are great. Did an awesome job at my house. So if you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I would rather get my teeth drilled than go to a car dealership. However, I recently had a breakdown with my vehicle, and I knew that I had to get a new one. I knew where to go. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. I'd heard amazing things. I knew the GM, Mark, so I ended up going out there. Mark, you're with me right now, and I got to be honest, even knowing you, I was nervous. Just being at a car dealership brings pressure, but you guys really focus on customer experience.
Well, you know, there are some dealerships where you go in and you feel like you're getting jumped on. We don't do that, okay? There's absolutely no pressure at our dealership. period. And we backed it up with a 5-day or 500-mile, 100%, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. We only want to sell you a car if you want to buy one. So if you want a low-pressure experience, check out our reviews. We have thousands of 5-star reviews. You can buy with confidence. Wayscar Ford's been family-owned and operated in downtown Auburn for over 103 years. You don't stay in business that long by not taking care of people.
See it for yourself at Wayscar Ford in Auburn. That's wayscarford.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
It's time to go all in at Toyota of Kirkland. All in on their commitment to quality, innovation, and durability that makes Toyota of Kirkland certified pre-owned and used vehicles the best in the market. When a product is made better, it lasts longer, and Toyota of Kirkland is the place to be to go all in on your next used vehicle for that reason. With a large inventory of certified pre-owned and used vehicles with incredible savings, why not visit their wonderful staff and beautiful showroom today at Toyota of Kirkland or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and go all in on your next car.
You know, someone asked me the other day, do you know how many devices the average home has connected to their Wi-Fi network? It's way more than I thought. So I actually went home and counted how many connected devices I own. It's more than a dozen. All to keep me connected to the good stuff. Streaming, gaming, all the interneting, you name it. Xfinity knows that the number of devices we have connected to our internet is growing by the year. And that's why they engineered their gateways to handle hundreds of connected devices. Hundreds, for real. And now through March 18th, get Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for a year with no annual contract and Wi-Fi equipment included when you add an unlimited mobile line. And ask how to get an eligible free 5G phone with trade-in. Make sure your home Wi-Fi can handle everything you throw at it and then some. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store to switch today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with store and bank account. Taxes and fees extra after promo regular rates apply. Xfinity Internet required. Reduce mobile speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds and actual internet speeds vary.
So here's the deal with Mariners season ticket memberships. You've got 2 great options. With a Flex membership, you have the freedom to pick your seats, games, and number of tickets whenever you want. Or if you like knowing where you're sitting all season long, go with a reserved membership and lock in your seats from day one. Both plans get you access to exclusive pre-sales, year-round discounts, special event invites, and more. Check it out at mariners.com/25.
Cal Raleigh wins it in the 10th inning for the Mariners.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Great night for hockey. It was everything you would want it to be. No, it didn't have all of the fighting of the first U.S.-Canada battle, and it wasn't really supposed to. I think it was just fine that those guys were able to keep the fisticuffs to a minimum. But the skating, the physicality, the passion, all of it on display. Brady Tkachuk has been right in the middle of all of it, and he tied this game late in the first period.
And back on to Taves. Now a wraparound by Matthews, and they score! Brady Tkachuk knocked it home!
He sure did. His brother ended up getting kind of re-injured in the second period, didn't play at all in the third, and so they went to overtime, tied it 2. That's when Jordan Binnington made 3 unbelievable saves, and Connor McDavid sent everyone home.
That means everything. I think you saw
That's
everybody.
not it at all, though. This is what happens when he sent them home.
Great pass, McDavid scores! Connor McDavid wins it for Canada! And Jordan Binnington has done it again inside the TD Garden.
Yeah, Binnington in net, McDavid out on the ice. Great pass from Mitch Marner to set it all up. And just, Makar had a great play to get that thing going. Just, look, these guys are really, really good on both sides of the ice. And that's why that game was as special as it was. You're looking at some of the best hockey players in the world all together on one rink. It's not like that every day in the NHL, but this is a great game, and they do play with that level of passion quite often. It's why it was such a fun experience. Nathan McKinnon won the MVP, and yeah, he thinks that it should be really good for the sport.
I think it does a lot. I think it was much more popular than even we would have imagined. It was getting so much attention from our whole continent. It was pretty cool, just the build up over the last 3 days of Canada versus USA. So obviously a lot of stuff going on with Canada and the USA right now, and us playing against each other was kind of a perfect storm for our sport. And it's great to have new eyeballs on it.
Well, hopefully a lot of those eyeballs will stick around. The Kraken, if you want to watch them, get back underway tomorrow afternoon in Florida.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Opening day for the Cactus League action. Jonathan Diaz will be on the hill for the Mariners, along with a few others. Cody Bolton, Jesse Hahn, Drew Pomeranz are a few of the other names that will take the Rock today. But the lineup, at least for the first few innings, has a whole bunch of regulars and at least major leaguers in it. Looks like this: JP, Julio, Cal, Arozarena, Garver, Canzone, Tyler Locklear, Austin Shenton, and Ryan Bliss at second base. So 12:10 is your first pitch of the Cactus League, 1:10 Arizona time. So looking forward to getting baseball back underway. And of course, we will be down there all next week, Monday through Friday. Excited to talk to all of these guys. Elsewhere in baseball, the Yankees announced their facial hair policy has come to an end. I don't know why that's news, but apparently it is. Good for them. They've joined the modern times. And the Mariners do have themselves a full broadcast team all set to go, and there's a lot of people involved in it. Rick Riz returns for his 40th season in the radio booth. Gary Hill, Angie Mentink, Ryan Rowland-Smith will all join him in various ways. On TV, it'll be Aaron Goldsmith full-time with a rotation of Mentink and Rowland-Smith, plus Dave Valley, and our next guest, Jay Buhner, who's going to join me in 10 minutes. And I'm just individually excited for each of those people, all of whom are great in their own way. But the return of Jay is special, man. I love Jay Buhner. I love his unique language. I love the way he talks. I love how open and honest and raw he is. All of those things I just think make Jay interesting and phenomenal. So excited to have him back in the booth and excited to have him join us here in about 10 minutes. Bummed, though, that this is the end for Mike Blowers, ending his time in the booth after 17 seasons. He was noticeably absent for quite a bit of last year, and yeah, I'm going to miss that. He's been the Mariners' regular color commentator the entirety of my time here in Seattle. I mean, they kind of overlap almost exactly. He did it a couple years longer, but he's pretty synonymous with watching Mariners games on TV for me. So that will be a change. That will be different. And I'll miss Mike. I really enjoy the way he sees the game. His analysis is subtle, but it is very smart. He really understands it. And I did especially like him with Goldsmith. I like the interplay between the two of them. So I will definitely, I'm sure, along with a lot of others, be missing Mike Blowers.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
The second John Schneider show of the season on the Wyman and Bob program. That was yesterday, and he elaborated quite a bit on his whole guard philosophy. If you remember, he said they were overpaid and overdrafted, so he gave a little bit more detail on what he means.
So the statement, I guess, is really, it's not a level of importance. It's extremely important. It's highly valued. We still, to this day, because of the dearth of talent at the position, will overpay at that position, and we'll overdraft at that position. We've been guilty of it, and we probably will be guilty of it in the future as well. It's just based on a level of talent. So it's a position that everybody is looking for, right? You know, we talked about the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, like what happened there, right? And that was rough. That was a rough go for those guys. I mean, every team, I would say there's probably about two or three teams that have really good offensive lines. The philosophy is not like we're not going to overpay. We probably will because we have to. But you have to be smart with those decisions, right? So what is the difference in, you know, are we gonna take away? Are we gonna overpay? Are we gonna overpay a guard and lose out on a defensive tackle? No, we'd rather pay the player that we think is a better talent.
I'm still not sure I fully understand what it is he's trying to say and how he feels about all of this. The reality is that what he says is not going to matter nearly as much as what he does. So we'll see just how much they value these positions once we get into free agency and the draft. But if you value them, then they're not overpaid and overvalued. If it's supply and demand, then that's where the market is. And if there's two or three teams with good offensive lines, well, then you've got to be one of them because that's the type of team you're trying to build. So I appreciate the comment, and I appreciate John letting us in a little deeper into it. Yeah, well, going to see what he does, and it's going to be a whole lot more important here than what he says. That's everything you need to know. 1:15 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. All right.
Well, I'm sorry. I was just going to say Ray Roberts made some interesting comments with Wyman and Bob the other day about development because we've seen these issues go on for so long, and we thought Damian Lewis was being overpaid in Carolina, and then he did pretty well there, but he never developed here. And he was talking about how Ray Roberts was talking about how Anthony Bradford didn't really show that jump either. Yep. So maybe you'll value them a little more if you learn how to develop them better.
And you know, look, they brought in Rick Dennison, and they brought in the new offensive line. I mean, like, they've gone pretty deep into trying to develop these guys. So they're attacking it from all angles. You still got to invest in it. And clearly, Philadelphia, Detroit, those teams with the great offensive lines have also invested in addition to what they're doing in the development side. So, we'll see how the rest of this offseason goes. Coming up next, the return of Jay Buhner to our program and in just a couple of weeks to the Mariners broadcast. Can't wait for it. He'll join me next. It's Brock and Salk. Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
I'm at the gym. I be low-key at the gym. I be hat on, hoodied on, headphones in.
So no one recognizes you? Are you a celebrity?
No.
Stop. Do you get sunglasses on too?
I just get in my zone and block everybody out. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But I couldn't block this out.
Okay.
One day I'm looking at this guy and he's wearing a Kobe jersey. So I'm really feeling him. I go, that's my guy right there. He doesn't even know. Then I walk in today and my man has on a Larry Bird jersey. And I stopped my workout. I went over him. I go, hey, bro. Sir. I go, hey, you can't do that.
Streaming on your smart speaker.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed. Limited time. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online.
Uh-huh.
I read that black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older, like you, are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Visit WeTalkWeRise.com to learn more. Brought to you by Pfizer.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Capital City Grooming and Supply reminds listeners animals can suffer from frostbite just as humans can, so don't leave your pet out in the cold. Remember, prevention is the key. Provide a safe, warm haven for your four-legged family member and keep them indoors whenever possible. A heartfelt reminder from Capital City Grooming and Supply, caring for all our companion animals for 38 years in Olympia and wishing you and your pet a safe and successful future.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's Comedy Night at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center, Sunday, May 4th, with Michael Blaustein.
My gym costs $9 a month. Guys, I go to the gym for the same price as an airport muffin.
Tickets at emeraldqueen.com.
So, I'm obviously single.
Don't miss this hilarious high-energy show. Michael Blaustein, May 4th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
This time next week, I'll be sick in bed with West Nile virus, thanks to a mosquito bite right in front of my house.
In 8 minutes, my daughter will be in an ambulance, having an asthma attack, triggered by cockroaches.
I'm going to be bitten by a tick today. I won't even know it until Lyme disease turns my life upside down.
Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association and the CDC.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, you never know where this is going to go. Usually a wild ride. Jay Buhner is in Peoria. He's back in the fold in the Mariners broadcast, and he's joining us right now. Good morning, Jay. How are you?
I'm in Arizona. It's 80 degrees, baby. It's awesome. Life is good.
What an awesome life you're living.
How about you? How are you doing?
Well, you know what? I'll be a lot better tomorrow at about 9:50 a.m. when I get off the plane down there, and I'm going to be a lot happier.
Oh, so you are coming tomorrow. The rumor was floating around you guys were going to be here, so
that
is true, huh?
How long are you there? Will we see you next week?
Sorry. I'll be back, March 10th through the 16th. I'll be back, so I'm leaving out and heading out tomorrow to go back and spoil my grandboys, and then coming back again. So,
cool.
Yeah, it's nice to be apart and running around. And
so what are you seeing? I mean, I want to hear what you're doing. I want to hear what you're seeing. We'll start with you briefly, then we'll get to the Mariners. You're back. You're going to do a whole bunch of games. What does that look like for you this year?
Yeah, 15 or so, 20 games, something like that. Be the third man in the booth and just bring back what I was doing on, Tuesdays with Bone type thing. And so it's nice. They want me to be a part. Kevin Martinez gave me a call, asked me if I could be interested in getting back in, and I said no. And then he said, well, I already got you down, so too bad. You're doing it. And so it's whenever they come into Texas against the Rangers and the Astros, and then I'm coming up for Ichiro's deal. What is that? First week of August for 6 games to be a part of that series and hang out with Itchy and all that. So yeah, it's going to be exciting, and I'm looking forward to doing it. It's going to be nice to be around the team a little bit too. See my boys Gar and Willie, and just it's nice to be around a little bit.
Well, yeah, that's a big part of this, right? I mean, seeing a couple of your ex-teammates and good friends who have taken over a lot of the management of this team. What is that like watching those guys?
It's awesome. It's awesome. I mean, it's awesome to see the way the guys are responding and taking it in. It's a nice new fresh breath of air for spring this year. And you come in and they got a full year to look forward to with those two guys, and then what they've done with the facilities and this multi-purpose facility by the cages, new bullpen. This place is awesome, man. It looks so killer. So guys are having fun. There's a great vibe. They're ready to go, and they know they're going to be in every single game, which is pretty awesome. That's all you can ask for. Now, if they can score a few runs here and there, or at least one more than the other team, it's going to be a win-win.
Did you always assume that Dan was going to do this one day?
Yeah, I knew he was going to do it one day. I didn't know it was going to be in the big leagues with the Mariners. But for a while there, I thought he was going to be the head baseball coach for Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So there were talks for 4 or 5 years of him taking over that. And then that didn't materialize. And the fact that things happened the way they happened, I think it's awesome. I think the organization is blessed to have two guys like Dan and Gar that were in the organization and were familiar with the organization and the guys throughout the minor leagues and had worked with the majority of them. So instant already credibility and familiarized with a lot of the guys was huge for them to step in and the transition be about as smooth as it can be during the circumstance. It's pretty darn awesome. And Danny is what you see is what you get. An incredible person, great communicator, control a room, super positive, but enough to kick them in the butt when they need a kick in the butt. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to see him in action and be around to try to help any way I can.
That's cool. He said something the other day that jumped out to me. First when he said it, and then Logan Gilbert kind of repeated it. He referred to the season as 162 battles, and then Logan brought up that same idea, battling every game. When I heard it, I'm excited to ask Dan about it next week when we're down there, because 162 battles, if it's the mentality of your team, is great. Go out there and battle every day. If it's the strategy of a manager, it can be really tough because you sometimes have to lose the battle to win the war in this game. What do you take from that, from Dan saying 162 battles?
I think it's just the fact to show up every day, be ready to play. For me personally, looking at it, one's been a tough number for them the last 4 years, but number one. And what I mean by that is, one game out. Top of the morning to you. So, every day, that one game that made a difference in you guys getting into postseason could have been in April, could have been in May. So I think that's what he's trying to get across. Come ready to play every day, leave it on the field, grind your butt off, and then, flush it, and let's get back to work the next day. Their coaching staff here is incredible. The work that they do here is incredible. They got an unbelievable pitching staff, as everybody knows. Their bullpen's healthy, and it's going to be dirty. And now, the game's changed so much. You get 6 strong innings, what you're going to get out of these kids. Then you turn it over to a bullpen game, and it's going to be a lot of one-run games. So that's where that one comes back into play again. And I think that's what Danny's trying to get across. Let's grind it out. And then he's going to have to work his magic and try to manipulate and get some runs and try to get some runs early. And does that mean start moving things around, put more pressure pitches on the pitchers, the opposing pitchers is going to mean some hit and run. How are they going to manufacture runs? So, and, it changes from day to day depending on the situation and where they're at. So,
well, I'll tell you what, you're going to have to manufacture a lot fewer runs if Julio Rodriguez reaches his potential this year, right? I mean, he's everything to this team. So tell me about it. Tell me what you've watched Julio over the last few years, and you understand the hitting as well as anybody. What changed when Edgar showed up last year, and how is that relationship able to get Julio to what he needs to be for this team to be good?
I think just simplicity. I think the biggest thing is the fact that, he's Latin, so he can speak to him from, and it's in his language and get his point across. I think what he's done the most, though, is simplify things. And a lot of these kids turn themselves into mental midgets. There's too much information, too much crap going on. And it's really and truly, at the end of the day, it's as simple as see the ball, hit the ball. I mean, their mechanics, it's never something huge when you got to make a little bit of an adjustment. I think that's what Gar is trying to tell him. Quit worrying about all that other stuff and think about, when you get into the batter's box, it's you and the pitcher. You don't have time to think about all those other things. So I think the approach between Gar and Seitz and Bobby is incredible in the cage, and they got him thinking more up the middle and staying out of the air and, put the ball on the ground. And some of the guys that's their basically what they should be bringing to the table, like Dylan, get the ball on the ground and get on base and create some havoc and steal some bags. Stolen base here, here, base hit here. All of a sudden there's early run on the board and then, winning baseball starts, So Danny's approach right now is be aggressive, and if you make an aggressive mistake, you're not going to hear a thing out of me.
Anyone else on this team? Yeah, who else on the team has your attention? You get down there, you got a few days to kind of just walk around and observe and see guys. Who's got your attention?
I think in general, pretty much right now, everybody's come in here in their great shape, man. It's impressive. I'm trying to learn some of the faces, man. Some of these kids are big, man. There's some big boys down here. I think the guy might pick the click. If I had to pick somebody, it's going to be Dylan. And I kind of grabbed him by the side a little bit and said, hey, this is the opportunity. This is what you've been waiting for your whole career. This is what anybody's ever wanted, is to get a chance, an opportunity to go out and play. I mean, you've been the super utility. You've been the guy. You want a gold glove. And don't listen to all the other crap out there. Well, you've never hit above 220. Who cares? You never been given a chance to go play every day. And that communication is huge. He knows that now. Now relax. Go out and have fun, man. And yeah, it's a hell of a lot of pressure. But you know what? Embrace it, because this is what you work so hard for. Kid's a stud. He's a specimen. So it's for not lack of working out and his training and everything he did this offseason and all the quick foot drills he's done to speed up his feet. Now it's just basically get these guys off to a fast start and then let them go play.
You can't talk about this team. Yeah, go ahead.
Could be fun, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, he can run, right? 30 bags last year. I mean, that's in this day and age quite a few.
Who knows what he can do? Garver. I mean, he gets hot. He starts off hot. Next thing you know what confidence breeds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no telling. Who's to tell that, these guys can't get it done? They got the pitching. Now it's just a matter of can somebody step up and get a timely hit from here to there. And then when one person does it, next thing you saw what happened the last 6 weeks. It got contagious.
Yeah. Hey, where are you on the whole batter's eye thing that Teoscar keeps talking about? And, we read this long, deep dive article into the ballpark and the challenges of hitting there and, whether it's the weather, this, that, and there's all these different things. But is there anything to this batter's eye deal?
Jeez, I don't know, man. I don't pay much attention to that anymore. I don't know unless I was standing up at home plate. And I know in the past there's been, the batter's eye, that's why they've changed the color so many times, and they had trees out there and this and that, and maybe it's orientation and all. Who knows? I do know one thing. I know there's a lot of strikeouts in that ballpark. I know it's one of the coldest ballparks on average in baseball. I know they play pretty well at home, so they can use that to their advantage. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm sure if that's the case, I'm sure they're going to do everything in their power to make a fix and make an adjustment. But
were there parks that you saw the ball better? Were there parks around the game where you just saw the ball better?
Absolutely. something about it. Yankee Stadium, as soon as you get in the box, for whatever reason, it matches up on your eye. Baltimore, for whatever reason, it matches up on your eye, whether it's Cityscape. Then there's places, for me, it was Kansas City. I just didn't pick the ball up real well for whatever reason, you know. And then a lot of it is, you know, you talk yourself into it. It can become mental. So that's when you got to grind a little bit more and maybe change your approach a little bit at that particular ballpark, knowing that it's a little bit harder for you to hit. Maybe you spread out a little bit more and go to a two-strike approach and try to check in first AB, and then you're playing with house money. So that's all the challenges in the middle, you know. It's kind of challenges that you put on yourself. When you play 162 and 185 days, it's a grind. Yeah. It's a mofo. So, but it's also, you know, you mature as a player and keep a black book and little tips of the trade, and then it's the buddy system, and then that's where a lot of things come in, and then you're trying to see if the pitcher's tipping pitches to help you out. And so.
Well, speaking of those pitchers,
things you try to do to help yourself.
Last thing here for you, and then we'll let you go. I'm sure there's a line of people excited to just go say hi to you, as it is wherever you go. Give us just a little bit on this rotation.
You know what you're going to get? I'm going to interrupt you. You know what you're going to get when I see you? Where's it going to be?
Don't stay away from my kidney, man. You know you gave me kidney stones the last time. Just stay away from me. Give me just a minute or so on this rotation. Pick one guy, any of the 5 guys in this rotation, and just brag about why they're great.
They're all dirty, and they all love each other, which is awesome.
Is that rare?
You know, huh?
Is that rare that 5 guys in a rotation love each other?
Yeah, because usually you got a couple of veterans that are, you know, snobs or got their head up their butt and think they're better than what they are, or whatever it used to be. But here, these guys all challenge each other. It is a great buddy system. I talked to Miller and Gilbert yesterday, and we're just talking about my approach. I mean, they were asking questions, and they're like, yeah, man. You know, I go, well, who's you guys got to bet? What's the over/under? And he goes, well, whoever starts the season first. So, I mean, you know, they're challenging each other. They're both dirty. They're both working on their stuff. Miller now has a split that he can throw for a strike. And he's friggin' a-hole and elbows when he's out there, and wiry and hiding the ball. And he's dirty. He's got good stuff. But they got 1 through 5, arguably the best 1 through 5 in baseball. There's a couple other sleepers that they got to mix in there a little bit. Now their bullpen's healthy, and they know, and they got that mentality. We go 6 strong, maybe 7. We turn over the bullpen. It could be a slam dunk.
Jay, thank you.
If they can have the lead, Salk. If.
Well, that's up to your guy, Edgar. He's got to go out there and hit for these guys, I think, and everything will be fine. Jay, thanks, man. It's just great to have you back. I know you don't want any more of the praise. That's fine, but I'll do it once you're gone.
Tell Brock hi for me, would you please?
You know what? We can't get them both on the phone together, can we? I don't even know if we have that capability. Brock's about to join me on the phone.
Let's try. Let's see if
Hold on. We might be able to get you both on together for just a second. Brock, can you hear Jay?
I think I lost Buhner.
Hello,
We've got
Mother
Brock.
Earth.
Do we have Jay?
Yeah, no, I think we lost Buhner. I tried. I might have hung up. I might have hung up on Jay Buhner.
We tried to get you and Jay on together. Instead, we hung up on Jay. Something tells me he's got other stuff to do. He'll be just fine. Yeah, Jay was great. Let's do some Blue 88 with Brock.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
Well, we tried. We tried to get you and Jay together.
Yeah, he just texted me and said, why did Salk hang up on me?
Yeah, typical. Yeah, that's fine. He's already threatened to punch me when he sees me next. Thankfully, he's leaving spring training tomorrow, so we won't see him until he makes his way up here.
Bummer.
Well,
bummer.
Bummer for you. Probably good news for me and my health. Yeah. Brock, let's do a couple of football questions, and we can spend a few minutes on baseball here at the end. Mel Kiper, is he going soft? What's going on here?
Come on, Mel. What is... I haven't heard the soundbite. I just read the quote from Let's Go Show there with Wyman and Bob in the afternoon. Mel Kiper telling quarterbacks not to throw at the combine.
Yeah, here's Mel. Here you go.
If I'm a quarterback, there's no way I'm throwing at the combine.
There's no way. If I'm an agent, I'm no way I'm advising a quarterback. There's only a downside to it because you're with receivers you've never thrown to. You see how they operate. You got to listen to and do what they tell you to do. In a pro day, you dictate policy, okay? You have your receivers. It's on your schedule, on your timeline. It's what you want to do. Nobody tells you what to do. They tell you at the combine. So I'm not throwing at the combine. Now, Justin Herbert threw at the combine. Looked great. He still was the third quarterback taken behind Burrow and Tua, but he looked good at the combine. But, at the end of the day, pro days don't mean a lot for quarterbacks. I don't think the combine means a whole heck of a lot. Most of these teams know who they like and who they don't like a quarterback. I know prior to pro day they do. I know for a fact that's the case because they already knew who they were drafting before some of these quarterbacks threw at the pro day.
Wow. I think old Mel is listening to his agent buddies and less than his coaching buddies. Because you know what coaches want to see, Salk, and GMs want to see? Just go compete. Just go throw. Yeah, do we know that it's going to be a little bit off? Your skinny posts and your out routes and real timing routes. Do we know that it probably isn't going to be perfect and the ball may hit the ground? Yes. But you know what we want to see? We want to see you compete. We want to see you out there with your peers and leading. I've told the story 100 times about Donovan McNabb at my combine. Like, it was clear this dude was the alpha because he's out there and he didn't throw perfect and he missed some throws. But, you watch how you interact with the receivers. You watch how, a ball that you throw great gets dropped. You watch how a perfect ball that you lead and the guy doesn't run under. How are you going to react to it? You going to pout? You going to be Aaron Rodgers? You going to whine? Or are you just going to be like, we're good. I got you. We'll get the next one. So I think that, again, there's more to just and it comes back to control. And he said it right there. Well, in your workout with your coaches, you get to control everything. Well, you know what you don't get to do in the NFL? Control everything. It doesn't work that way. It's hard, difficult, it's adverse. I want to see you in those same situations at the combine. So come on, Hathead. I don't like that at all. That kind of fires me up.
All right. Well, question number 2. Doesn't seem to be hurting any of their draft stock. I don't know why any of them would bother. I'm kind of with Mel. Like, who cares? You're still going to get drafted where you get drafted. It's not going to affect you.
Go compete.
But they don't care. But the coaches, obviously, the GM still draft you. Why take a risk unnecessarily? All right. Question number 2.
I don't think there's much risk. That's all I'm saying. I think there's very little risk to that point. They already know they like you. Go confirm it. And I don't think all of a sudden you miss a bunch of throws at the combine like, don't like you anymore. Just go compete. Go have a care factor about what you do. Don't be the NBA.
All right. Question number 2. Who, Brock, is an intriguing free agent out there with some ties to the Seahawks staff?
Yeah, I'll tell you a guy that, and it's not going to just be in the Seattle market. It's in the Denver market because Sean Payton coached him down in New Orleans. Kubiak had him for a year last year. There are not many Taysom Hills. Now, not a free agent yet. There's a lot of speculation that he's going to go into the final year of his deal, that going to have to try to rework the deal. He may be released. He is older. It's kind of crazy. Taysom's only 7 years in the league. But because of the Mormon mission and everything else, he's 35. He'll be 35.
Whoa.
He's an older guy.
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. Isn't that crazy? I'm like, well, I mean, he's been in the league 6-7 years. What is he, 30? Oh, no, he's going to be 35 in August.
I did not know that.
Yeah. But you're talking about a guy that can be a Y. He can be an H. He can be a fullback. He's every special team. I mean, he's just, once again, in kind of this Shanahan system, and obviously Clinton had him last year, to have a guy with that versatility, that joker position that can do so many things and do them very well. Oh, wildcat quarterback too, short yardage quarterback and fullback and H-back and Y tight end and do all of those and do them well. Yeah, if he does get released, he'd be a name I'd be highly, highly interested in Seattle.
All right, question number 3, another John Schneider show yesterday, Brock. As you mentioned, Wyman and Bob. What jumped out to you?
Well, I think he went a little bit deeper, right, into the why they haven't moved and paid guards and drafted guards, and it always comes down to that value thing. But I think you're seeing him, at least I sensed it a little bit, like, yeah, I mean, I don't like it. It kind of screws with our board and our dollars and cents from a value standpoint. But you also get to a place where this is the market. I'm sorry. You may not like the housing market in Seattle, but what are you going to do about it? I always loved when my Southern teammates, when I was with the Seahawks, get drafted and they come out to Seattle, or even over the last few years where people in the media move out to Seattle and they're like, what? That house costs what? down south, that house costs $200,000. Here it costs $2 million. Yeah, well, that's the market. That's just the value of the market here. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do about it? You want a good guard? You're going to have to pay for a good guard. You're going to have to pay a little bit more. Thankfully, there's, as we've talked about all offseason, a large supply of offensive guards in this free agent class, but you're still going to have to pay. And I think, John, has come more and more to that realization.
That is today's Blue 88. I agree with you very much on the third point. I said almost exactly that a little bit, maybe 45 minutes ago or so. What'd you make of the game last night? Did you watch?
Oh, did I watch? Was I kind of in a bad mood at the end of it? Like, I was kind of frustrated.
Oh, my God, but it was such great hockey. You couldn't be in that bad a mood.
It was great hockey. But I didn't want to see Rocky lose to Drago. He didn't. He finished him. So to see them just not be able to finish, and I thought, like Sean McDonough, like Morris text last night, I honestly thought in that flurry to begin overtime, I thought one of those pucks was going to go in. They're just going to find a way with all that juice and all that energy. And by the way...
But you knew, though, once they didn't go in, they were going to lose, right?
That's right.
Right. I mean, like, once those pucks didn't go in the net, you're going to lose that game every time.
Yeah, kind of the way it seems to work in that sport. I also did not realize that Tkachuk guy is the biggest nemesis, abrasive. Like every shot he gets, every chance he gets, to just throw an elbow into the ribs or throw a shoulder or just jack some dude up and like. Yeah, I'm the bully, and there's nothing you're going to do about it.
Yeah, the hit that Brady Tkachuk had on Drew Doughty last night was a vicious hit. And that's on a 35-year-old multiple Stanley Cup. I mean, Drew Doughty's a great player in his own right. Yeah, dude, that was a lot of fun last night. I really, really enjoyed all of the theater around it, and just a pretty cool experience. All right, did you see the lineup for today, Brock?
I did not. No, what do we got?
We got a great lineup today. The Mariners are bringing it. Crawford, Julio, Cal, Randy, Mitch Garver, Dominic Canzone, Tyler Locklear, Austin Shenton, and Ryan Bliss all in the lineup today for the first game of the Cactus League season. How about that?
So it's not just 162 battles.
No.
We're throwing 20-something more in spring training.
That's exactly right, and hopefully a few more to go after that. We'll be down there on Monday together, Brock, so we'll look forward to that. I will see you then. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk soon.
And go Pokes. You got it, buddy.
Go Pokes. There you go. There goes Brock Heward. And yes, we will all be down there together on Monday. Shannon is beating us there by a few days, and we're going to chat with her next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
There's a Twitter account, I guess, called Mile High Moments, and they found the video of Dave Wyman scoring a touchdown.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
Who needs Elway when you've got Maddox to Wyman?
My pregnant wife at the time, she missed the play because she was going to the bathroom. And I guess my mom went nuts, and my brother was embarrassed.
Is that the one you said you went crazy in the end zone, and you're like,
yeah,
I didn't act like I'd been there before or something?
They were like, yeah, act like you've been there, but I haven't.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
The sound of summer is back. Dave Matthews Band Live. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, August 20th, Friday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. Produced by Live Nation.
Do you need a new roof? Don't wait for summer to replace it. 3 Tree Roofing is here to help you save big this winter. Avoid summer's higher prices and longer wait times and protect your home's integrity now. Visit 3treeroofing.com for your free on-site estimate. Our certified installers make it easy and worry-free, no matter the season. Don't wait. Book your estimate today at 3treeroofing.com. Mention this ad and get $500 off your roof replacement. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We could all use more time. Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. I can see why they call it smart. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Take your game day experience to the next level with a Mariner Suite. Suites are perfect for birthdays, anniversaries, client meetings, and that company outing you've been trying to plan for months. Enjoy first-class catering, VIP parking, custom setups for 14 to 400 people, and more, all with the help of a dedicated Mariners rep. Suites start at $125 per person, and season ticket members get 15% off. Reserve now at mariners.com/suites.
Munoz strikes out the side, and the ball game is over.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we are committed to giving you quality workmanship and white glove service that exceed your expectations. Get our exclusive leak armor installation backed by a lifetime warranty. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to accuse you of manager.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Hello!
Well, time for the first of many check-ins with Shannon Drayer. She is in Peoria already. She spent a couple days there and gotten her bearings. We wanted to let her kind of, see what was what and do her thing. And now she's ready to join us and tell us all about it. Good morning, Shannon. How are you?
Good morning. I've been here for exactly one day, but okay.
That's all we need. We expect you to do all of your work in one day.
I don't think I've even found all of the bearings, let alone gotten them in place as of yet. But okay.
All right. Well, give us the initial impression of Camp Wilson.
Camp Wilson is a little bit different. The first thing is you walk in and things look a little bit different because they've made some changes to the complex, and you'll see that, when you drive up and when you go out in the back porch, which is now about half the size it was before because they're made some more productive work areas. And so things look a little bit different along those lines. Feel is a little bit different. I don't think they are having quite as many meetings as they have had before. I don't think they're having the big morning meeting that they had with the full club every day. I think they have a smaller one, and there is a very, at least, and there'll be time to get into it with the players a little bit more, but intense focus on the little things and how important they will be from the get-go. I think that you've heard probably this quite a bit, but they have missed by just this much, and there are a lot of things you can do to gain that much, and so they are very, very focused on the little things.
We heard Jerry say, or at very least we read that Jerry said that if the young players, if they show them something, they'll let them run with it. What do you think that means? How did you take that?
I think that probably means that they will let them run with it later in the season. I think you do have a very established group. I mean, there aren't a lot of position battles. Obviously, a little bit in the bullpen. Going to figure out who the extra bench players are. But I think after that, I think that they are looking at the young players more as depth, and depth that is close. So my guess is that's what he's talking about. They'll get a good look in spring training. But I was even looking at like group assignments yesterday that were up on the board, and they were a little different than last year. I think you might remember that Cole Young was in a group with all of the ones, and he was attached to J.P. Crawford. Well, the ones right now are the established player, and then the group two is the younger players, and then, some of the others. And notice that Harry Ford was always with the big league catchers before, and now he's in that second group as well. It doesn't mean that they're any further away. I just think that they're going about the work a little bit differently, and perhaps it isn't really the job of, or you're not going to get as many looks right alongside the other guy. But that doesn't mean that the work is not going to get accomplished, that you won't have that opportunity in other areas. That just really kind of jumped out at me in the assignments a little bit differently.
It's funny you bring that up, Shannon, because it kind of fits with the lineup for the opening day of the Cactus League today, right? And we went through this earlier. JP, Julio, Cal, Randy Arozarena, Mitch Garver, Canzone, Locklear, Shenton, Bliss. I mean, everyone in that lineup has at least major league experience. And the first five guys are definitely on your roster to start the year. The other guys will compete for it, and we'll probably see all nine of them at some point this season. That sure seems to speak to your point.
Yeah, and I think that, again, when you're looking at the depth, I think that you could, there are several other names that could have been on that list. And I think that is important to them. And what's kind of neat about that is it might not only be, and we haven't really seen this in a while, it might not only be emergency depth, it might be depth that can push what you've got, that you start with. And we really haven't seen that with position players in a while. So, I do think that fits, although, you'll see everybody. I don't think the regulars will be in there that long, although they are going to try and get them more at-bats. That is, pretty much confirmed at this point, but you don't do it all on day one.
We were debating a couple things this week, so I'll throw them at you and just get some initial thoughts. And we're excited to be down there and see you and chat with you more next week. Opening day starter seems to be, if it's anything, a competition between Luis Castillo and Logan Gilbert. Where are you on that?
That's a tough one. That's a call that I would hate to make. I understand both sides of the coin there. Luis Castillo, it's tough in that he has been the guy, and that is a huge goal of his. He has stated, from day one that he has been with the club, that he has three goals at the start of every season, and one of them is to be the opening day starter. So, that is something that he takes very seriously, and it means a lot to him. I don't think I've ever heard Logan express that is something that he wants. I'm sure he does want that, and I'm sure that he could be a top of rotation. And it really doesn't mean much beyond the opening day. I mean, it is an honor. And it's interesting in that, Logan is now a veteran player. And last year, Scott Service asked him to take on more in that regard. And I think there is a little bit of an element of that with it, too. Luis Castillo has seen more than Logan Gilbert has. Logan Gilbert was the All-Star last year, and he has just, continued to develop. So to me, it's a little bit interesting in that how will they view that as part of Logan's development? Do they see that as something good for Logan as a Mariner, perhaps something good for Logan as a Mariner going forward? And if, extension talks or anything play into that or intentions. So I think there's a lot more intrigue to that than there even normally would be. But there are two different, there's schools of thought. There is the old school thought, and Castillo has been it. He's done everything that they've asked of him. He certainly has the track record, and he does have more experience. He has done more than the others. And Gilbert is the up-and-comer, and he has put in the work. He's a special talent. What does the future hold for him in the organization? So I could not tell you what I would do because the intentions are kind of different on both sides.
Yeah, I think what I've said on that is I go with Castillo unless there's a really good reason not to, and there might be some really good reasons not to. Maybe you're trying to motivate him. Maybe you do want to try to start a contract situation conversation with Lowe. I mean, there's lots of good reasons not to, but absent one, I don't see any reason to rock an apple cart and just kind of go with the guy who's done it before. Last thing for you, Shannon. Julio is the obvious X factor. I could ask you about other potential X factors under him, but I think it's better to just talk about Julio. What have you seen from the best player on this team? Because they need him to be that, obviously, this year.
It's something that I want to get more into the longer that I'm here. The initial, what we're seeing from him is that's Julio, but it did strike me. I mean, he did look a little bit older when I saw him, and I think that you are to the point where he's got 3 years under his belt. He's not an old veteran, but he really is approaching that young veteran, kind of standing. And so he is a guy that is very businesslike in his work and approach and behind the scenes and whatnot. And so we're seeing that. And I'm just curious about the offseason that he had and how he has prepared himself for this season, because I think to me it looks a little bit different. And I think the key for him is going to be the work that he is able to do with Edgar Martinez and those around him. And, we'll say this until we're blue in the face, but all the talent is there. Everything he needs is there. It's just a question of adjustments and how quickly he can make them when he gets into trouble at this point. And it's taken too long, quite frankly, the last 2 years for him to do that. So, that's going to be the big step he takes forward. And I think it's going to be impossible to see it until you get into season. But, just the way he's carrying himself around camp, the really quick hellos and whatnot, and watching the work, I don't see anything out of the ordinary from him. And I am kind of encouraged, I think, by some of the things that I've heard from the offseason, but really want to get further into.
Speaking of making adjustments, how's the house? Are you going to have to make adjustments? Is Maura going to be able to stay? What are we thinking about for the house this year? Is everything okay?
Yeah, we'll discuss when people get down here.
Oh, jeez. Not. You said you were due. I'm not liking what I'm hearing. So here's the real question: will Bob Stelton of the Great Wyman and Bob Show, will Bob Stelton be able to live in this house for a week?
That, I think we're just going to have to give updates on that one, to be honest with you.
No. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh.
Wait, to me, the real question is Brock going to be able to cook for us?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? The common areas are quite good. Okay. And I have not opened the grill because that is sometimes a scary experience in these situations, but there is a grill out back. There is actually a pretty delightful pool, and you're not going to believe this, but it's going to be 90 degrees on Monday.
I can actually believe it very well.
It will not be heated, but yeah, and if you've ever if you want some cold tub bets or something like that, you guys probably could jump in there, and it might be the temperature of a cold tub first thing in the morning. So
Shannon, I'll see you Sunday. I get down there tomorrow, and I'll be over at the park on Sunday. Already excited about it, and we will spend some time with you all next week. We love it every year. Thanks, Shannon. Talk to you.
Looking forward to seeing you guys.
All right, there you go. Our great friend and tremendous Mariners reporter, Shannon Drayer. Let's come back with everything you need to know. Then G. Scott will stop by. Stacey Rost will be here. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710 and SeattleSports.com.
Seattle Sports is heading to Arizona for spring training baseball.
Knowing every night when you go out there that you're going to get a great pitching outing is tremendous.
Go behind the scenes with Brock and Salk as the Seattle Mariners get ready for the 2025 season. All next week from 6 to 10.
Back she goes, going and going. Goodbye, baseball. He did it. Julio Rodriguez
and hear every pitch of spring training baseball on Seattle Sports. Streaming on the Seattle Sports app.
Holy smokes!
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Lowe's knows that free is just better. That's why MyLowe's Rewards is free to join. As a member, you earn points towards MyLowe's money on eligible purchases, get exclusive free gifts, and earn free shipping at Silver Key status, all on top of weekly member-only deals. Don't wait. Join MyLowe's Rewards for free today and start saving more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print it all for my business. Oh, if you can think it, Staples can print it, and will beat any print quote. Oh, great. I'm thinking new brochures and yard signs. No problem. I'm thinking calendars, t-shirts, and pens. Totally. I'm thinking Staples is the place for printing. I thought you might think that.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Our programs and services include rides to care, a place to stay closer to treatment, or access to information and day-to-day guidance, all for free. To see how we can help you, visit cancer.org today.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet, but we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found at G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
I've always said, the car sales in the 1980s and 1990s, earned the rep that we have today. The concerns that consumers have because of what has happened in our industry in the past, they're warranted. It's our job to show them that that's not how business is done anymore, right? It's very different business. It's much more transparent. There's much more information that's available to people. And we're much more customer focused than I think the car industry was, 20, 30 years ago. I'm more focused on providing good customer service and relationships because I think if you take care of people, money will always come. So I think just the philosophy and the focus for us has changed, where I was constantly chasing a paycheck, and now I'm just constantly trying to take care of customers and employees, because I know if I do that, then my paycheck will take care of itself.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Just Cause Legal knows the value of standing up for what's right. If you've been in a car crash, Just Cause Legal is here to fight for you. With aggressive auto insurance lawyers on your side, you will secure the compensation you deserve. Just Cause Legal makes the process as painless as possible. Don't wait. Time is critical. Get the help needed today. Visit justcauselegal.com or call 253-859-8899 and meet your legal lifesavers. Just Cause Legal, fighting for you.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, I thought last night lived up to the hype, and there was a lot of hype around it, obviously. U.S., Canada, everything going on geopolitically, and then obviously the fighting and the great game that took place on Saturday night. Well, it all led up to last night. And the pomp and circumstance was great. Wayne Gretzky coming out for Team Canada. Obviously, seeing Micah Ruzioni coming out for the U.S. team and wearing a Johnny Gaudreau jersey. I mean, just all of it was great. And then the game took over, and it, too, was awesome. Back and forth. Brady Tkachuk got the U.S. on the board to tie it up late in the first period.
And back on to Taves. Now a wraparound by Matthews, and they score! Brady Tkachuk knocked it home!
It was just a good, dirty goal right in front of the net. Exactly what you'd expect from him. And then each team scored again. It was 2-2 late, got into overtime. Jordan Binnington made 3 saves that were about as good as you're ever going to see. And then the best player in the world did exactly what he was paid to do.
Great pass, McDavid scores! Connor McDavid wins it for Canada! And Jordan Binnington has done it again inside the TD Garden.
Yeah, that's Sean McDonough referencing the Blues Stanley Cup victory that he had there in Game 7 in 2019. Jordan Binnington was great last night and really did make a couple of those huge saves. Connor McDavid did not have his best game, but you put the best player in the world in the slot like that and get a great pass from Mitch Marner, and he's going to bury it every time. He spoke about the tournament.
That means everything. I think you saw everybody, lay it all on the line. I think the Tkachuk bros were grinding through things. Sid grinding through something. Everybody, Harley stepping in again. Everybody laid it all out there. And it just means the world to us to find a way to get it done. That's what we do.
I think it's awfully important that he mentions that, right? How many guys were playing injured, dealing with something, playing through it? That's what you expect them to do in the playoffs and in the Stanley Cup Finals, not for a meaningless tournament that just showed up a few weeks ago. It's amazing, and they turned it from meaningless into meaningful, and just an incredible testament to those players and to the league and to the culture around that sport that really made it into something that captured everybody's attention. Great, great, great hockey, and I just couldn't have enjoyed it anymore.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
It's nice to see my favorite sports taking center stage. Hockey last night, and we will turn the page to baseball today. It is opening day in the Cactus League. Mariners will face the Padres at noon. Jonathan Diaz on the hill. We'll see Cody Bolton, Drew Pomeranz, a couple of others as well. Dan Wilson's excited. He said this about it yesterday.
Really good day yesterday. I thought we had, again, some great at-bats. Pitchers continuing to throw well. I'm amazed at the fitness level, the way these guys have come into camp. They're ready to go. That's bodes very, very well for, what we're trying to get accomplished down here, the preparation we're trying to put in for the season. So really excited about where we're at. First game tomorrow, a lot of different things to think about. We got the ABS thing that's going to be a part of spring training. So that's something that's a little bit different. But guys are ready to go. We're ready to go. it's time to get started in games.
It certainly is that, and they will do it today. TV pairing for the season announced. It'll be Aaron Goldsmith with a rotation of Angie Mentink, Ryan Rowland-Smith, Dave Valley, and yes, Jay Buhner, who joined us about an hour ago and used some terminology that I'm quite sure I've never heard before. Pumped for each of those folks individually. Rick Riz back on radio for his 40th season in the radio booth. Gary Hill will have an expanded role, and then you'll hear Angie and Ryan on radio as well. The only other part of that, and it just warrants mentioning today, I'll miss Mike Blowers quite a bit. 17 seasons as the regular analyst for Mariner games on TV. Mike is a fascinating person to listen to, who I think has just so much knowledge, of course, of the game. I like the way he views the game. He is not a man of many words, so when he speaks, you really listen to him. And I have always done so, and I feel like he's taught me quite a bit about the game of baseball over the course of my last 15, almost 16 years here as well. So happy trails, Mike. We will miss you, and looking forward to seeing you around the ballpark at some point.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Second John Schneider show of the season yesterday on Wyman and Bob. Lots to discuss. Let's see. Here's John Schneider on Rick Dennison, who's one of the 17 people they've hired to help with the running game in the coaching staff.
We talked last week about the development portion too, acquisition, obviously identification, very important, but being able to develop people and then work with the individuals that can accentuate people's skills or help them with their deficiencies, and it's so important. They call him Rico, I guess. So, and then Justin Outen, we Mike hired him as well, and he's former center, so offensive line emphasis really, right? So. Yeah. Rick Dennison, Justin Outen, and John Benton. And those guys, there's three really strong teachers right there.
All right, I exaggerated with 17, but they did hire three guys specifically to work with that running game and with the offensive line. It's a specific commitment to trying to make it better. That's part of it. You've got to get it right on the development and coaching and scheme side, and then you've also got to get it right from the acquisition side, and we'll see what that looks like over the course of this offseason. That is everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. Stacey Ross is going to join me in a little over half hour from Bumpin' Stacey, and we'll get her thoughts on what they've done here in the offseason so far and where that's heading. Before we do it, though, I can see him. He's excited. He's bouncing up and down, and he's about to come in here and do what only G. Scott does. That's next on Brock and Salk.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
What part of football has changed, and do you like it?
2-point conversions. We are chasing points. The game has changed. 2-point conversions and fourth downs. So we're seeing coaches dive into the data like a lot of people do with baseball. And I like it, and it is weird at the same time because I'm not used to seeing these fourth down conversions or attempts and these 2-point conversions.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacey.
Hi, I'm Tyler, and I want to share my awesome experience we just had with Window Nation. When we bought our home in Edmonds, Washington, we noticed some of the windows needed to be replaced. Our living room was cold and drafty in the winter, and it was hot and stale in the summer. But after a lot of research and a few bids, we chose Window Nation to replace our windows. From the first consultation to the final installation, their team was professional, friendly, and incredibly knowledgeable. Window Nation offered a wide variety of high-quality, energy-efficient windows that not only look great, but we immediately noticed the difference in the comfort of our home. And the best part was the installation process. The crew arrived on time, worked efficiently, and they left our home spotless. It's the best home improvement project we've ever done.
Call Window Nation today and see the difference. Right now, save 60% on all windows and pay nothing for 2 years. Visit windownation.com or call 866-90-NATION to schedule your free in-home estimate and get 60% off. That's windownation.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. So you can stream games during Mad March hours, check the weather for April showers, and watch gardening videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 4/15/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Washington's biggest night out for sports is the annual Sports Star of the Year Awards. Join the Seattle Sports Commission for the 90th anniversary of Sports Star and experience red carpet interviews on Media Row, a champions gallery of sports memorabilia, and a live awards show created for the sports community by the sports community. Don't miss your chance to be among the stars on February 27th at the 90th Annual Sports Star of the Year Awards, presented by Microsoft. Get your tickets now at seattlesports.org.
Seattle Sports is heading to Arizona for spring training baseball. Go behind the scenes with Brock and Salk all next week from 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports.
It's time to go all in at Toyota of Kirkland. All in on the largest savings opportunities on the largest inventory of Tacomas, Tundras, Prius, and the BZ4X. The incredible team at Toyota of Kirkland is all in on your car buying experience. They'll set you up with a test drive and you can take that car home on the same day. Come on down to Toyota of Kirkland and get all in on the best deals with the best inventory. Check out their wonderful showroom today or go all in online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
O'Brien. Every window tells a story, whether it's watching your kids play outside or enjoying a beautiful sunset. This is Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Our replacement windows are designed to frame those moments. Brighten your home with our exclusive offer. Buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Call today to take advantage of this limited deal. 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule a free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the RoboVacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
Steamers get stolen. A steamer is a car running unoccupied to warm up or stay warm during cold temperatures. Every winter, Washington State sees an uptick in auto theft, and a major reason is steamers. So do not leave your car running unoccupied. You won't see it again. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. Don't get caught with your car running. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
G. Scott they want.
Yeah. Here's the thing I don't...
What do you mean, here's the thing?
I look at the camera these days.
Yeah.
You know, your boy...
Well, look how tall you look on there.
I mean, I ain't had a haircut. You know what I'm saying? I got to go get righteous tomorrow. And so now I'm looking at myself on the camera here. It's just not right. But hey, good morning to you, Mike.
I'm sorry the camera is bothering. Do you not have the camera over in your studio?
Ours is,
so we can get it the same level.
Ours isn't as great as you. You guys got a good one.
Well, we have a good setup in here.
Yeah,
I mean,
guys,
you know how it is.
We've been behind in ours. I could tell you why we've been behind over there.
Yeah.
But I get in trouble.
I don't need you to get in trouble today.
I get in trouble.
You already got in trouble last week. It is our weekly conversation with G. Scott is presented by G2G protein bars. Were those like meant directly for you, G to G?
Hold on. Is that really?
It's true. Yeah. Did you not know this is now presented by someone?
This is
This is sponsored.
You lying, Mara, tell me the truth.
I thought you knew.
I assumed it was somebody that already sponsored you on your show.
No, hold on. It really says G2G?
G to G. Protein bars.
Man, who is the AE on this?
I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. I don't know who sold it.
No, you for real?
Do you think I'm lying? You think I would make up this?
Let me see.
It says it right there. Protein bar, G to G. I wouldn't make that up. That's not like me. You think I would make up a sponsor?
I ain't getting no damn check.
What a perfect name, too, for G. Scott, the G to G protein bars.
All right. What y'all want to talk about today, Brett?
God, I got a whole bunch of stuff. I've been all on the whole hockey thing from last night. I don't know if you watched any of it. It really, did you watch any of it?
Any hockey?
Huh? Yeah, did you watch any of the hockey?
Lie?
No, don't lie. Did you? It's okay if you didn't.
I don't want to say no.
You can say no.
I'm on a sports show.
It's okay. You don't have to have watched it last night.
Well, I'd rather you ask me if I watched Seinfeld. All right, what happened?
No, it was great. What was interesting about this hockey tournament is instead of an all-star break this year, the NHL decided to put together for the first time this tournament of 4 nations. So it was U.S., Canada, Sweden, and Finland. And no Russia because of the war. They're like banned from international competition. So it was those 4 nations, which are sort of the 4, I think, that have the most hockey players in the NHL other than Russia. And so in theory, it could have been like the NBA All-Star game. The guys could have come out and messed around and not hit, not taken it seriously. Instead, they're fighting like crazy, and there's, it's a physical, nasty game, and they're after each other, and they're playing through injury. And I think just the passion for the game and the sport for a tournament in the middle of a season that doesn't really mean all that much, I think really just sparked a lot of people's interest and respect for the game and for the culture of that sport that says you get out there and you work your butt off and you respect the game more than anything else. And the fact that it came, I think, during the NBA All-Star break, as you watch the NBA just completely bungle what used to be a special weekend for them, I think the contrast kind of stood out.
Yeah. Yeah, and that seems to be the theme, and they're talking. And look, I think hockey and NBA, hockey and basketball, they're just different, I think. But what is just makes it that much more different, Mike, is the salaries, the guaranteed salaries. The Jimmy Butler down with the Miami Heat, who basically like, I ain't playing anymore.
Right.
Trade me, right? You have families that take their hard-earned money and get ready to go see these superstars play in these cities, and you get there, and that superstar is not playing. Why? Load management. So that's a problem.
Not because he's hurt, just because he's just not playing that day.
And I think at the end of the day, look, I'm going to take this time to not crap on the NBA players. You can't blame them. You can't blame them for being in this situation because this basketball is basically just an ATM for them right now. They get guaranteed money in this situation. So it would be, let's make it simple. It would be like you going to your job, and no matter how you perform at your job that day, that week, that month, you're getting your guaranteed money the rest of the year, regardless.
Here's my question. Isn't that true? It's true in hockey also. It's not as much money, right? I mean, basketball, you're only splitting that enormous check 12 ways.
Stop right there. It's not as much money.
But Connor McDavid has an $100 million contract. It's not what Steph Curry's making or some of the guys in the NBA, which is just, it's crazy, crazy money.
Dude, there's
still $100 million guaranteed.
There are players in the NBA that make over $100 million, and I don't know who they are.
I get it.
Now that's crazy.
I get it. And Brock was making the same point yesterday. That is a level of, because the advantage the NBA has, in addition to being popular and all the great deals they've made, is you just don't have to split the revenue with that many players, right? You only have essentially 12 guys on a basketball team. You've got 50-something on a football team, plus all the other guys who come through over the course of the year. You got 26 on a baseball roster, 20-plus in hockey. I mean, like, you just have to split the revenue amongst more players. But those guys are still making $7, $8, $10 million a year, and they were out there playing through injury for a tournament that, again, doesn't even affect their actual paycheck, right? Because the league that's paying them, the team that's paying them, wasn't involved in this tournament. So PK Subban is an ex-defenseman, and he weighed in on exactly that with the NBA yesterday.
I'm sick and tired of making athletes greats, all-time greats, that aren't the best examples. They got to understand the importance of showing up to the All-Star game and being on the court and playing banged up sometimes and playing injured maybe at times. Thank you, and participating, because here's the thing. Because you're making 100, 200, 300 million, you should be out there banged up. You should be. That's why we pay you, is to max out. We talk about greatness and it being the longevity of somebody's career. I don't care if you play 50 years. I want your best 10. I want you on the court dominating. I want you to go all out. I want Michael Jordan. I want Kobe. That's what I want in every sport. That's the guy that I follow. If you're a different version than that, you don't get my respect.
I don't disagree with anything that he has said. I think there's two ways to talk about what's happening in the NBA. I think it's one from a fan's point of view, which is most of us that talk about the NBA, the fans, which very important. I'll get to that in a second. And then there's the players' point of view, right? And the players, they are, no disrespect to them, they are trying to, hey, how can I make as much money as I can, last in the league as long as I can? So if that means if I go all out and I play 7, 8 years, or if I kind of relax a little bit and I can make it 10, 11 years, that's 3 to 4 more years extra of getting money. And at the end of the day, that's all we are here to do, is live, take care of families, and make money.
Is that where you think the load management thing comes from?
Yes.
See, I've never thought of it that way.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I've always assumed it's a team decision.
Oh no. Well,
I don't see. Again, let me just present the argument. You can, because yes, it obviously. I'd never thought of it in terms of the long-term health of a player and how much money he could make. I guess my mind just never went there. I've always just thought of it as, hey, we got 82 games, and we're trying to win an NBA championship. And if my best player, because we're going to make the playoffs no matter what, if we're good, if he only plays in 70 of those games, he's going to be fresher in the playoffs, and he can play as hard as he can in the playoffs because we rested him during the regular season. To me, it's always just been sort of a marathon mentality of how to give yourself the best chance to win a championship.
And that's true too.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Because I understand that. That's a valid way of playing sports.
Some of these these franchises, they want to be able to keep that star player for a long time because they know what that means for that franchise. A topic that has come up, I know you guys don't talk NBA on here, but at least I got to bring it up, is the Luka deal, right? And the Dallas Mavericks, oh my goodness, I can't believe they traded him away. I believe the number one reason why they traded Luka away, whether they're right or wrong, I guess we'll see. I think they looked at Luka and says, yes, you're a great player, but there are things that we know about you that makes us believe that you won't be the player that people think that you'll be in years to come. Question. You cover NFL, you cover MLB. Have there been athletes in the past that you know some things behind the scenes? However, you can't come out and say it.
In the past, in the present. It's constant. It's not just the past. It's the present.
You know what I mean? And so,
of course.
So when I look at the Dallas Mavericks and Luka, I just sit back and be like, well, I don't know what's going on, at face value,
Right.
Luka looks like he's one of the best players in the league. But I do know Mike Finley did take a beer out of his hand post-game. I wonder what's going on.
No, I think a lot of my opinions on athletes, even in this town, are often based on things that I've heard or know about behind the scenes that are not necessarily for public consumption. But, I think that that's very indicative of the way decisions get made, and I think you're right to bring that up.
Did you know what Harvey Dent said in Batman? One of my favorite quotes.
You've said it many times.
It's my favorite. It was one of my favorite quotes of all time. Shawshank Redemption in there, too. Harvey Dent says in Batman, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That is LeBron James for me right now. I'm barbershops all over the world. I have screamed LeBron.
You've been a LeBron guy.
Oh, God.
Oh, interesting.
God. I mean, I'm not a Laker fan. I'm a LeBron fan.
Okay.
But what LeBron has been doing as of late, starting with the whole Bronny being in the league, has been making my skin crawl, bruh. You know what I mean? So I'm bringing that up right now because his latest antics at the All-Star game, 20 minutes before tip-off, we find out he's not playing. Fam, you knew you weren't going to play last Wednesday night. You show up to the arena in street clothes and be like, I'm not playing. So you took away an all-star appearance for another player. Okay. Then when it's time to take the all-star picture, yo butt, go down there. You didn't put on a uniform. You got in street clothes. You messed up the damn picture. Everything LeBron James is doing these days is really bothering me. And there are the people out there who don't like LeBron. All of their points they make about him, they just got that. See?
Yeah.
There you go. I don't know what
It's funny because I started off as a LeBron hater years ago, mostly just because of the decision and the whole way that was handled. I just didn't like it. I just thought, again, I tend to view the game from a GM perspective. I think that's just my natural view on most sports.
Yeah.
And the decision very much ended the reign of the general manager in the NBA and turned the players into the general manager. And I guess I still just believe players should be players and GMs should be GMs.
Yeah.
And so I've always sort of been anti-LeBron. But over the years, I think you've actually kind of swayed me towards LeBron of like, hey, he's a good guy. He doesn't get in trouble. Money he donates, the causes he sticks up for. It's like, yeah, all right. Like, I guess I should probably chill out a little bit and, like, come around on LeBron. And so maybe partly because of you and your influence, it's rare that you convince me of anything.
Yeah,
but I think you did. Now I'm kind of like, I don't even mind the Bronny thing. Like, it's hard for me to get too upset about it.
I'm like some of you all. Maybe you voted one way one year and you voted another way. I'm that person that's voting a different way right now.
Okay.
And the reason I'm voting because, look, our generation, me and you, Mike Salk, I'm going to talk about something that, a lot of you all listening right now, you can talk about this. There was a time that I don't care what happened. There's no way that Magic Johnson was going to play with Larry Bird. And there was no way that Dr. J was going to play with Mike. You see what I'm saying? Like
right. Until the Olympics, obviously. But yes.
There used to be a time where as a child or as a young man or woman or whatever.
Where team was the number one thing.
Team was the number one thing.
So here's I was just thinking the same thing. And here's what I think you're getting to. There are and I'll ask you more of as a question.
Yeah.
There are three entities that as a player in any sport you can be loyal to. You can be most loyal to yourself, and you've talked about that in terms of making money and protecting your own best interests long term.
Yep.
You can be loyal to the team and make that your number one priority.
Yep.
And to me, that's what some of the load management is about, but I understand your point there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Or the third entity is you can be loyal to the sport and to the game of hockey, the game of basketball, the game of football, whatever that may be. And maybe those loyalties shift and change over the course of careers depending on moments. I think one of the things that made this Four Nations Faceoff so interesting is that hockey players over the last couple weeks abandoned their loyalty to their team in favor of their loyalty to the sport and, I suppose, to country. And that's another big one. I should probably put that in there as well. That is a fourth one, and it's just too bad football doesn't give anybody a chance to do that. I was going to ask you about that. But, okay, they abandoned team loyalty in favor of loyalty to their sport and loyalty to their country. Mm-hmm. If you are a Bruins fan today and Charlie McAvoy is one of their best players, he's going to be out for a while because he got hurt during this deal. Mm-hmm. Are you happy about the Four Nations face-off? Maybe you are because you just appreciate what it did for the sport. Mm-hmm. But are you also kind of pissed off that one of your best players now might not be available for the stretch run? Yeah, that's a very real concern. And so somebody's texting in, hey, LeBron dropped 40 yesterday. Is that because he chose not to play in the All-Star game? I don't know. But was his loyalty to LeBron? Was his loyalty to the Lakers? Was his loyalty to the NBA? Where should your loyalty be?
I think that as far as LeBron has been a great ambassador of the game. I'm not taking that away from him. But I think that his antics, especially on All-Star weekend just now, was really bad. And you basically were worrying about yourself.
So why do you think he did that? You think it was personal?
I think he did that because he did not want to. That All-Star game, whether it was trash. However, LeBron knew he would have to compete. Mm-hmm. And what ended up happening is in the championship part of the All-Star game, there was the OGs against the global team. And that, I mean, to be honest with you, that global team was loaded.
Oh, yeah, they're good.
You know what I mean?
Was it the last 6 years, I think, have all been international MVPs?
With Wemby and Karl Anthony Towns and all of them. So it was going to get to the point where it was going to be a little rough for the OGs. So I think LeBron didn't want to play in that.
So it's almost a pride thing. Like, I don't want to mess around with my pride and lose.
But probably. But going back to, I love your three things to care about. That was one. But I want to go into this part of it, and this is the last point that I wanted to make about it, is that we keep telling our young Gen Z that are coming up, and that we're like, man, back in the day, and they always say, shut up, Unc. Shut up, OG. You always talking about back in the day. Well, the reason why we talk about back in the day is because, hey, the new generation, you guys don't even watch the entire game. And the reason why you don't watch the entire game, because it's not good.
And the players aren't playing the whole game.
And they're not playing. Right. Or the loyalty, or from the fan experience. And the one thing you can't do, you taught me this. When I first got into radio, you can't fool the listener the same way you can't fool the fan. That period. Yeah. People will say, well, you don't know anything. It doesn't matter. The old saying, people don't care about how much you know until they find out how much you care.
Don't you? That's another G. Scott favorite. Isn't just to play devil's advocate, isn't that exactly what our parents said, though, when we were watching the NBA in particular in the 80s and 90s, and they were going, the fundamentals stink, and they're not taking this, they're not doing that.
Whistles. When they were talking about the fundamentals, because let's be real, my daddy and them was watching basketball, you feel me, in the late 50s and 60s. Fam, come on, man. Wasn't even integrated yet. So,
that's fair.
Sit this one out, bro.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair point.
But that's where we are today, and that's why NFL and football is king right now. It's king because, well, the structure and way it's designed, and the average player's career is 2.7 years.
Right.
Still. But the fact that it's not guaranteed, you could be Aaron. Imagine this. Imagine Aaron Rodgers and the Jets not being able to get off and do away with him.
Right.
Imagine if Aaron Rodgers was to stay. Imagine if Russell Wilson was still here as a Seahawks quarterback.
Because you just couldn't do anything about it.
Because you did. I promise you, I don't care how much you love football, you tune out. Next.
Right.
That's why we're here.
It's a good point. It is too bad the NFL doesn't, or that the game, just because it is so singularly played here in this country, it is too bad that there's no opportunity for football players to play for their country. And maybe one day, I mean, I know that's why the NFL is playing games in Germany and Brazil and Mexico and England and everywhere else. Maybe one day the game will grow enough internationally. It's still hard for me to imagine that's ever going to happen. Yeah. It's too bad. All these other sports, and you see how much it means to these athletes to put on the U.S. jersey, the Canadian jersey, whatever country it is. And it's a bummer that the football players will never get to do that.
We got 4 minutes left, man. We just talked way too much sports and way too much NBA.
What else is on your mind?
I'm jealous. you guys are getting ready to leave this weekend and go down for spring training. You're missing the game today at 12:10 right here. You get to listen to the Mariners go against those Padres in their natural. I didn't know they shared the same complex.
Oh, yeah.
I
Sort
didn't
of.
know that.
Well, sort of. I mean, it's not like they're walking all over each other all day.
Yeah.
They share a ballpark.
Yeah.
So the actual ballpark is the same. The Mariners facility is on one side with all of their fields. I mean, it's acres of land. I mean, you need a ton of space. And then the Padres facility is way on the other side of the ballpark.
Right.
So you don't like walk by each other. You're not commingling.
Yeah.
But they share the stadium.
You know what M's baseball, Mariners baseball, you know what it's for me? Like I was thinking, I told Lyle, I was talking about what I was going to wear today. I was going to wear some Mariners stuff. I decided not to because I had a Seahawk jacket that I haven't worn yet, so I wanted to wear it today.
Yes.
But anyways, you know what the Mariners remind me of? Man, have y'all ever been in this situation? Mar, you too. You ever been in this situation where you like, I'm not dating them anymore. I'm done with them. As a matter of fact, if they text me, I'm not responding to them. I'm never talking to that person again. That's the Mariners. As a fan, you're like, I'm done with the Mariners. I can't believe what they did or did not do this offseason. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of that. I'm upset. And then today at spring training, you're like, hey, come here, girl. Come here. Let me holler at you for a minute.
So you think the Mariners
I kind of missed you a
You
little
think
bit.
they've been playing hard to get with us this offseason?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I mean, because at the
They're
end
playing hard to get.
At the end of the day, no matter what you put on X, no matter what you put on your Facebook, no matter what when you call Brock and Salk, no matter what you said, or if you're Lyle screaming about the Mariners, let's be real. You back in love again right now. You are back in love.
Yeah.
Come on now. And you got trauma. You need therapy. We all need therapy. You know what I mean? And it's okay. So you go tell your therapist what's
This
wrong
sounds
with
like a toxic relationship.
Y'all act like we ain't all been in a toxic relationship. Look, I love Kevin Martinez. I love the Mariners, but let's keep it a buck, y'all. We are in a toxic relationship with the Mariners. Anybody want to say I'm wrong? This stuff is toxic. What we go through year in and year out. I told her I was going to hang out with her for 20 games last season.
How'd that go?
Not good. Not good. But baby, I'm coming back this year. I'm coming back.
But with fewer promises, you're not making the same number of promises for this year, are you?
No, I'm just only that I'll be better.
Okay.
You ever made that promise to your boo?
Yeah. I'll be better. I'll do better next time.
Oh man. Somebody asked me, has golfing changed G's worldview?
What golfing? She hasn't done any golfing.
I haven't done no golfing. Matter of fact, I just told Jermaine yesterday, after I saw Tiger Woods, I might have to slow up, pull up and not do some golfing.
You're not gonna?
Nah.
I thought you were gonna.
I don't have time. I got this new podcast I'm getting ready to work on.
You're so full of it. You have plenty of time.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. You have time. You have to make time. You have to decide something's important.
Bruh, I don't take a nap every day.
Well, so you also don't drive your kids around for 3 hours a day the way I do. Like you got time. You got to make it happen.
Hold on. I used to.
I know, but you don't now.
And when I first got here,
but you don't
to.
now.
Yeah.
I get it. It's world. You gotta decide what's important to you. You gotta have priorities.
Are we in a toxic relationship with the Mariners?
Huh? We gotta go. G is starting his own show with Ursula Reuting in just a few minutes over on our sister station, 97.3 Cairo News Radio. No, you know what? Are you in a toxic relationship with the mayor? These are all questions we could shoot right back at you. We'll be back in just a moment. I think Stacy's going to be here, and then phone calls a little bit later in the show. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans?
With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Discover LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
Lee Johnson culture to me is empowering all of your employees to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. There are certain things that it doesn't matter what level of employment you are in our organization. If it's not the right thing or it doesn't feel right, they have the ability to take care of the customer and make the decision without asking a manager, without asking an owner. The end result is they can speak to the customer with more confidence. They're definitely more confident in what they're trying to provide the customer, what the customer is trying to accomplish, and just giving them a better experience.
His name is Justin Meek. He's the leader and caretaker of more than 300 full-time employees for the Lee Johnson Auto family. It's the united understanding among Lee Johnson employees that customers are the purpose of our day. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check that your seats aren't in the visitor section first, before buying tickets.
I'm so excited for this game. I can't believe you got us tickets.
Me too. Wait, are we on the wrong side?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
This is going to be a long game.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Lowe's knows that your deadlines don't change, even when your job does. But with Lowe's Buy Online, Pick Up in Store, we'll help you adjust on the fly. And when you absolutely can't leave the project, we can deliver to your job site as soon as same day. Lowe's knows pros. We help, you save. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit GetEthos.com. That's GetEthos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. With thousands of full replacements with expert craftsmanship and unbeatable warranties, we've been building roofs you can trust for over 5 decades. It's more than just a job, it's our promise to you. Protect your investment with a free Golden Pledge warranty on all GAF roof replacements over $15,000. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule a free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get it freaking out!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk. on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke Ewart. And Brooke Ewart.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
All right, I'll start our final hour of the week by apologizing to everybody. Stacy is not available. She had a last-minute interview come up, so she is in the other room preparing for Bumpin' Stacy, which, of course, will take over right after we're done at 10 o'clock, and they'll lead you up till noon when the Mariners' first Cactus League game of the season takes place, and that'll be fun. Jonathan Diaz on the mound, but a bunch of starters in the game, in the lineup. JP is playing, Julio is playing, Mitch Garver's playing, Randy Rosarena's playing, Cal's playing. So yeah, it's a good opportunity in the first game to actually hear those guys out on the field, which is cool. We'll spend a couple minutes here just kind of talking about this Mariners team, and I asked Jay Buhner, okay, who draws your attention right away? His answer, Dylan Moore. Okay, what does that look like? Dylan Moore is going to get the first opportunity to go out there and try to own the second base job on a day in, day out basis. Has he shown in his career that he can do that? Not yet. But as Jay points out, he's never really had the opportunity to do that on an everyday basis. We'll see if he can take that job and run with it. I guess what I got even more from Jay was just listening to him and just hearing how much the old school philosophy really sounds like it is taken hold in what the Mariners want to do. When you hear Jay talk about hitting and running, bunting, going the other way, using the big part of the ballpark, finding different ways to win every night, using the speed that they have on the base paths. I mean, those are words and phrases and strategies that you have not heard in a long time. You really haven't. Not here in Seattle, not really anywhere in baseball. Maybe a couple of different places at times have tried it out. Kansas City kind of went old school a few years ago, but in general, those are not words and phrases that you've heard around baseball. Can it work? I don't know. I'm kind of excited to find out, right? I mean, like, this game changed. Lyle, did you say that Moneyball is one of your favorite movies? You've seen Moneyball, right?
It is one of my favorite movies.
Have you read Moneyball? Or just seen it?
I've read parts of it.
What do you mean you've read parts of it? What does that mean, parts?
In the movie, I know that they didn't talk about how when Billy Beane was thinking about taking the job with the Red Sox, he told Paul DePodesta, I'll trade you Kevin Youkilis, all that stuff. So
but you should read the actual book. The book is fascinating because it goes into, I mean, the movie tells the story. The book tells sort of what happened in the statistical revolution and how DePodesta and Bean and all these, Bill James and all these folks really started looking at the game differently. And so it does start to tell the story first of on-base percentage. It starts to tell the story of how they looked at guys that were having success but not being viewed with any sort of excitement by scouts because they looked different. Chad Bradford, I think, is the name they bring up, the submariner. And they kind of go through a lot of that. It's fascinating.
Right. Well, in the movie, they don't talk about war because I'm sure they don't want to bore just casual fans. But when Jonah Hill says your goal shouldn't be to buy players, your goal should be to buy wins. That's what he's saying when he's talking about war.
Yeah, they're starting to develop this idea of, at the time, I don't even think they called it war. They still had VORP, which was value over replacement player before they even got to wins above replacement.
Right, which is more what they talk about in the book, right?
Did they talk about VORP? Yeah, the book, it very much gets into VORP and all that. Anyway, the reason I bring it up is since then, or soon after then, we haven't really seen teams say, hey, let's go old school. Let's run and bunt and hit and run and, all of the things that the Mariners are saying they want to try to do. That's not to say that no one has stolen bases, that no one has used their athleticism, but it does sound like there's going to be a commitment to playing the game the way it was played in the 80s and 90s and not the way it's been played since Moneyball took over all of baseball. On one hand, that terrifies me. On one hand, it scares me because the analytical revolution in baseball, I think, really helped teams figure out the quote-unquote best ways to do it, right? The same way we spent a while yesterday talking about the odds. The best way to play blackjack is by the book. It's an odds thing. It doesn't mean it's going to work every time. But if I play blackjack 100% by the book and you play according to some other random strategy or just by your gut, if we both play long enough, I'll win. It's just a fact. The longer we play, if in a short sample size, you might do better than me. If we both play exactly the same way and I play by the book and you don't, over time I'll beat you. Because that's just what the odds are. And that's why analytics works in baseball, I think, better than in other sports, because you're playing over such a long period of time, 162 games as opposed to 17 or 82 in the other sports. The Mariners are challenging that. And while it terrifies me to go against math, I am also a fan of zigging when teams zag. And if the entire league, at some point, when Billy Beane and a few others first started developing and going along with these analytical strategies, they were going against the grain, right? Why did Billy Beane have to do it? Because he didn't have any money in Oakland. So they needed to find a different way of competing with teams that had a lot more money to spend. So what did they do? Hey, let's try this. On base percentage, it wasn't that they were addicted to on base. It's that it was something that wasn't being valued by the other 29 teams. So they saw unbelievable players and opportunity in players that nobody else wanted. Scott Hatteberg is the great example of that, and Kevin Youkilis in that movie or in that book, because they say, hey, nobody wants Scott Hatteberg because his batting average is low. But guess what? His on-base percentage is high, so we like him, and he ends up becoming a valuable part of that team. If everybody is doing it, if all 30 teams have access to all the same analytical data and all the same analytical thinkers, et cetera, there may be some opportunity, especially if your payroll is limited in some way, to try to go and do it a completely different way, to try to win in a style that is unfamiliar to the other 29 teams or however many of them, when you don't have the ability. If you can't have the Mets payroll or the Dodgers roster or Aaron Judge, what do? Nothing? Or do you try to go about doing it a different way? I have serious, serious questions about whether or not doing it this way will work. I think there's a lot of really good reasons why baseball has gone away from this in the last decade and a half, 20 years. Right? Lyle, you talk about it all the time. You hate it. I totally understand. I'm with you. Yeah, I get it.
I was going to say, can you remind me, maybe I'll set a calendar date for sometime in the middle to end of July to go to the doctor and check my high blood pressure. It's
going to be hard for you.
How much bunting I'm going to have to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard for you to watch because it is unlike anything you grew up with. All that stuff has been taken out of the game essentially during your lifetime.
Right. I've never had any appreciation for bunting.
It is going to be interesting to see, what if it works? What are you going to say? Right? Because you've got to find something to mitigate for the fact that your roster is not as good as the Dodgers, the Mets, and the Yankees.
We've already heard Dan Wilson and Buhner both already talk about how you're going to be in these one-run games. They already have that in their mind that's where you're going to be.
Yeah. If it works, it works. If they're winning games based off bunting and stealing bases and hitting and running, then sure, what am I going to say? You're winning games. But I do not like bunting, I was going to say.
I'm very concerned about it. It goes against everything I think I've learned about baseball in the last 20 years and everything you've learned in your life about this game. But there was a time before Moneyball where teams won in a completely different fashion. The Mariners seem, anyway, like they're about to try that out. It's shocking to me, given all of the emphasis that Jerry Dipoto has put on analytics over the course of his career, that he would do such an 180-degree about-face and now turn things over to a strategy that has never come close to anything he's ever advocated before. That's interesting. There's no doubt. But if it works, there's going to be a lot of kudos their way. First to Jerry, then to Dan, Edgar, everybody else associated with it, and the players as well for buying into a system that has not really been tried in baseball for the last 20 years. I'm curious to see how it works. I like zigging when other teams zag. I like doing something to rather than just saying, hey, throw up our hands. I guess our roster isn't as good. Oh, well, let's just go home. Like, that's not how you play sports. You continually search for some sort of an edge over the other teams. And if you can't get it in your roster construction, then you better find it in value. And if the value isn't in on base percentage and the various other analytical tools that have aided those teams for years, then where do you find it? Maybe it's in players that nobody else wants because they don't fit the analytics. Maybe it's in a style that nobody else plays because it doesn't fit the analytics. Anything you can do to get an edge is probably worth trying if you're not the Mets, the Dodgers, the Yankees, or one or two other teams that can compete at the absolute highest levels of payroll in this game.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Red Sox star Rafael Devers says he's not giving up his third base spot for the newly signed Alex Bregman. What is the real headline?
Real headline, would you like to not give up playing third base in Seattle? They could put together a package that would entice the Red Sox, but Boston just signed Devers to a long extension. I think cooler heads are going to prevail. Bregman is a far better fielder than Devers is at third base. Rafael, my man, you got to be okay with playing DH.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print it all for my business. Oh, if you can think it, Staples can print it, and will beat any print quote. Oh, great. I'm thinking new brochures and yard signs? No problem. I'm thinking calendars, t-shirts, and pens. Totally. I'm thinking Staples is the place for printing. I thought you might think that.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed. Limited time. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer premium windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and come with clean glass technology. And Leak Armor installation gives you a lifetime warranty to protect your home. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Through February, for each window or door you buy, you get one at 50% off. Plus, make no payments for 18 months OAC. For details, visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com. today, a name you can trust.
The noon hour of the Bump and Stacy Show is powered every day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Bring on the sunshine with a trip to see your Seattle Mariners. Come to sunny and warm Peoria, Arizona for another great year of spring training baseball. There's no better time to wind up at the Peoria Sports Complex where you can see all your favorite Mariners up close. Spring training in Peoria has plenty of sunshine, warm temperatures, and the best seats in baseball. It's family fun for all ages. Book your trip today. Support your Seattle Mariners in Arizona for another exciting spring training season. Get your tickets at PeoriaBaseball.com.
The sound of summer is back. Dave Matthews Band Live. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, August 29th through 3rd.
Why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service and speed in select locations only.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, it was a heck of a night last night for hockey. It's a bummer that the U.S. team didn't win, but the game was spectacular. Back and forth, physical, nasty, great defensive hockey at times, wide open at other times. Got into overtime. 3 incredible saves made by Jordan Binnington, the Canadian goaltender, and then eventually Mitch Marner set it up. But the best player in the world, yeah, he ended this one.
Great pass, McDavid scores! Wins it for Canada! And Jordan Binnington has done it again inside the TD Garden.
Yeah, he sure did. He won a Stanley Cup there for the Blues a few years ago, and the saves he made in overtime were just ridiculous. It was an awesome tournament in a lot of different ways. How meaningful it was to the players, I think, was what stood out more than anything. Austin Matthews, the U.S. captain, bummed after the loss, but happy about the way the whole thing went.
It meant a lot. I mean, it's an honor to wear this jersey and represent our country. Obviously, a lot of familiar faces, guys that have played with each other in the past. So it's definitely a special honor, something that we definitely don't take for granted.
No, and you could tell they played very much for the loyalty to their country and just to the sport itself. Mark Messier afterwards on ESPN says the U.S. was good, but they're not Canada yet.
They got a long way to go to surpass Canada internationally. Yeah. And I'm not saying they're not there yet. I don't think you could look at these two teams and say one was better than the other. One was more talented than the other. One country is has a more depth in their players than the other. To me, they're very evenly matched, but Canada has got a stranglehold on that. And again, they found a way to win the hockey game. And in the end, the only thing that matters is if you won or lost, and Canada won today.
I do wonder what comes next, right? Generally, leagues screw things up. Whenever they have a slight little bit of success with anything, they try to do too much of it. They try to recreate it. They mess it up. What would you do next if you were the NHL? Next year, you're going to have the Olympics. You don't need anything. The year after that, I think, is the World Cup. But the year after that is open. Do you try to do this again? Sure, you can do that. Maybe move it to some different cities or make it bigger with more teams. I did hear the suggestion. I think Steve Levy said it last night. Maybe it was somebody else. Why not just do a 5-game series between the U.S. and Canada? I mean, Sweden and Finland were great, but, why not just have these two teams play each other in a best of 5? I'd certainly sign up for that, wouldn't you? Just watch these two teams get after each other over the course of a whole series, get to know each other. The longer the series goes, the less fluky it can be. You have any doubt? I mean, they played twice. Each team won. If these two teams played 3 more times, don't you think we'd get to a Game 5? I do. They were pretty evenly matched throughout that game again last night. So I don't know what they do next, but whatever they did certainly worked. Great to see the players out there as hard as they played, and just a truly tremendous experience for the NHL.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
I don't know if you're going to see the baseball players giving it their all today in the start of Cactus League action. In fact, I'm quite sure you won't. But the lineup the Mariners have put together is definitely full of a whole bunch of regulars. JP, Julio, Cal, Randy Arozarena, Mitch Garver, all in the lineup today. That's your first 5. And then a couple of other intriguing players, Canzone, Bliss, Tyler Locklear is in there today as well, and Austin Shenton. So, yeah, I mean, like, good for them. They're coming at it and saying, first game, let's go with a whole bunch of our regulars, get them in there, and see how this thing goes. Jonathan Diaz will be on the mound. Dan explains what the pitching looks like.
Diaz will start tomorrow for us, and get some of the guys started here. With the starters, it's going to be short outings, and we've got the pitching mapped up and lined up, and guys are getting opportunities to get out there, get their innings in, and I think we're set to go. It's just a matter of getting there and getting started.
Yeah, and so they will do that today. Just because we were talking about it a few minutes ago, the aggressiveness they plan to play with, the small ball, etc. Here was Dan on that style.
I mean, it was a big part of what we did, and I think it's important again to be aggressive as much as we can, put the pressure on them. And, I think our guys, you got to have the personnel to do it, and we do. It's going to be a focus, and we're going to keep pushing it.
All right, if that's the personnel they have and that's the style they want to play, should be very easy to see how it works over the course of the season.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Finally, John Schneider on yesterday with Wyman and Bob for the second installment of this season's John Schneider Show, all leading up to the draft in just a couple of months. He spoke specifically about his comments last year about the guard position specifically, right? He said they were overpaid and overdrafted, and yesterday he was asked about that.
So the statement, I guess, is really, it's not a level of importance. It's extremely important. Right. It's highly valued. We still, to this day, because of the dearth of talent at the position, will overpay at that position and will overdraft at that position. We've been guilty of it, and we probably will be guilty of it in the future as well. It's just based on a level of talent. So it's a position that everybody is looking for, right? We talked about the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, like what happened there, right? And that was rough. That was a rough go for those guys. I mean, every team, I would say there's probably about 2 or 3 teams that have really good offensive lines. The philosophy is not like we're not going to overpay. We probably will because we have to. But you have to be smart with those decisions, right? So what is the difference in, are we gonna take away, are we gonna overpay, are we gonna overpay a guard and lose out on a defensive tackle? No, we'd rather pay the player that we think is a better talent.
Yeah, all of that makes sense, although I think I'm still probably a little confused as to what the philosophy is. At the end of the day, they've invested quite a bit now in the coaching staff along the offensive line, and my guess is we're going to see more investment in the position itself through the acquisition phase. As long as it works, as long as the offensive line is not a major weakness for them, I think things should go a whole lot better and more smoothly for the Seahawks next year. That's everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. Oh, I got to put away all my notes now because it's up to you guys. Now, I will admit, there are days where I feel great about what we're going to do for the final 30 minutes of the show. We're going to come on. We're going to do our open phone lines. And some weeks more, I feel great about it. I will admit there's a little trepidation today.
Oh.
Maybe it's because it's school vacation week. Maybe because, hockey has been one of the big driving topics of the day today, which is not a traditional engaging caller topic here in Seattle. So I don't know. I may need to work a little harder to throw some ideas out for the people right now. You guys may need to dig a little deeper. on the phone lines to think of something interesting that you want to call and say. 866-979-3776 is the phone number, and the phone lines are open as of now. If you'd like to talk about the Mariners and where they stand as we kick off the Cactus League season today. If you would like to talk, I mean, and for Mariners, it could be anything from the lineup. How do you feel about small ball? I mean, there's a simple question. We just talked about it a few minutes ago. How do you feel about small ball? How do you feel about them bucking the trend in the league and trying something that almost nobody else is doing? How do you feel about the Mariners playing small ball? 866-979-3776. How do you feel about John Schneider saying that he understands about guards being drafted or overdrafted and overpaid, but that he still has to stick to his value chart? How did you feel about the hockey game last night? How did you feel about hockey players playing injured for their country and for their league and for their sport rather than for the team that pays them? How did you feel about how it contrasted to the NBA in a week where we've been talking about getting the NBA back here in Seattle after Bruce Harrell's failed attempt at a joke? So those are a couple of ideas. There's plenty more. Anything you guys want to get into, you're in charge, but I'm probably going to need a little help today. 866-979-3776. If you've never called the show before, make today your first time. We'll chat with you guys next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Red Sox star Rafael Devers says he's not giving up his third base spot for the newly signed Alex Bregman. What is the real headline?
Real headline, would you like to not give up playing third base in Seattle? They could put together a package that would entice the Red Sox, but Boston just signed Devers to a long extension. I think cooler heads are going to prevail. Bregman is a far better fielder than Devers is at third base. Rafael, my man, you got to be okay with playing DH.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Calling all pickleballers, Champions of Change and Safeway announced a multi-city pickleball tournament, including celebrity games with Seahawk legends Doug Baldwin, Mike Bennett, Cliff Averill, and more. In collaboration, Nourishing Champions campaign will be raising awareness and accepting donations to provide nutritious foods for student athletes in under-resourced high schools. You can help by donating at your local Safeway checkout. Open to all. The tournaments are in Seattle, Lacey, and Spokane. Register today at championsofchangefoundation.org/pickleball.
Mariners single game tickets are on sale now. The squad will be back in action before you know it. And now's the time to lock in your seats for the biggest games this season. Don't miss opening day on March 27th, Ichiro Hall of Fame weekend, August 8th through 10th, and matchups versus the Dodgers, Yankees, and more. Plus, check out 30 value games with tickets starting at just $10. Go to Mariners.com to get your tickets today.
A deep blast. This is gone. Home run. Julio.
Discover LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and a Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusante et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
When you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Hey, sell your car to Wayscar Ford, and when they resell it, they share half their profit with you. That's right. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford in Auburn. They'll pay you today for your car, and once they resell it, they'll share half their profit with you. Go to wayscarford.com for complete details.
Cougar basketball is back.
These guys want to get better at basketball. They want to go as far as they can in the game. They want to get their education. They want to be around each other and build a real family.
Coach Riley and the Cougs are ready.
We put in so much work all of our lives for this exact moment.
We are Wazoo. It's only on your home for Cougar basketball.
Catch the Cougs all season long on AM 770 KTTH.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Kinematics Marine Equipment reminds parents to enroll your kids in a positive youth program. Sports, hobbies, and community activities improve overall health and performance in school. These programs decrease drug use and violence and develop self-discipline and leadership skills. Let's team together this year to help our kids reach their full potential. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Kinematics Marine Equipment, your nationwide source for marine deck gear for over 40 years. Online at kinematicsmarine.com.
Bring on the sunshine with a trip to see your Seattle Mariners. Come to sunny and warm Peoria, Arizona for another great year of spring training baseball. There's no better time to wind up at the Peoria Sports Complex where you can see all your favorite Mariners up close. Spring training in Peoria has plenty of sunshine, warm temperatures, and the best seats in baseball. It's family fun for all ages. Book your trip today. Support your Seattle Mariners in Arizona for another exciting spring training season. Get your tickets at PeoriaBaseball.com.
The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Lee Johnson Auto Family. This is King. This organization's a special one. They call it the Lee Johnson Auto Family, and it's not just a name. It's not just some cliche. They foster an environment for us to become a family, to work together, to really become close. And they show us in a lot of different ways that they do value us. Is it perfect? No, no place is. But I've been very thankful to be here in the almost 10 years and have every plan to stay here for a lot longer and just watch it continue to grow.
He's fun and professional, which explains why so many people visiting Lee Johnson Kia ask for him by name. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, kudos to you guys. The phone lines are full. I appreciate it. And keep calling. We'll try to get to as many of these as possible. Some days, especially school vacation week, etc. Not unusual for it to be a little more challenging to fill up the line. So pretty excited to have you guys overcome that. And looking forward to talking to you over the course of the next 25 minutes or so. 866-979-3776, the phone number. And we'll just jump right into them. I'll start with Russell in Spokane. Good morning, Russell. What's going on?
Good morning, Mike. I just want to say I watch your show every day, and I think you're probably the smartest guy on the radio.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. That is quite the compliment, and thank you, Russell. That's nice.
I have two questions for you. I hear you and Brock talk a lot about Southeast Alaska and how it and a reference to the Mariners, and I was just wondering, because I'm from Juneau and live there, so I was wondering if you could
Explain.
I was thinking maybe it's more weather.
Well, it's actually neither.
Yeah.
It's an old quote from Mike Holmgren, I believe, before I moved here, where he referred to Seattle as being thought of by the rest of the country as essentially Southeast Alaska. Like, it's so far away that nobody in the rest of the lower 48 ever thinks about it. And it's I think, just a reference, and Brock probably says it a lot more than I do. It's a reference, I think, to just how Seattle is far from everywhere else. And having been born and lived in the Northeast and lived in L.A. and that area, I will say, I love it here, but it does feel far away. I mean, it takes a while to get anywhere from here. And so I think that for a lot of the players that come, whether it's an SEC school or something like that, they come out here, they're like, man, this is another world. And so I think that's sort of where that comes from.
And I'll let you go, but it's funny because Juneau, it's always referred to as Little Seattle. So that's funny.
Well, I got to get up there at some point. Thank you, Russell, for the call, and probably let him stay on longer because he said something nice about me. I'm not like immune to a compliment now and again. I got to get up there. I've been to 48 states. I've never been to Alaska. And it continues to be something I really, really want to do.
What's the other one you're missing?
Wisconsin.
All right.
I don't have a good excuse on Wisconsin. I've driven across the country a lot, so I haven't slept in every one of those states, but I don't include airports. Like, you've got to, like...
I'm the same, but I've driven through Wisconsin, like, stopped off and eaten.
I just missed it. I don't know. I mean, I've come close because I've been in Chicago. I've been in the airport, I think, in Milwaukee, but I've never really stepped foot into Wisconsin and driven around or done anything like that. I just barely made my way into Arkansas, so that's another one that was just barely.
I don't think I've been there.
Yeah.
I think you have to step outside somewhere just for it to count.
I think that's probably right. And I've done that everywhere else. I don't know that I stepped outside in Arkansas. I've been there in the car, but I'm not sure I bothered to step outside. So I don't know, it depends on how you want to count it. 866-979-3776. Let's go to Stanley in Seattle. Good morning, Stanley.
Hey, good morning, Mike. Hope everything is good. I like your program and agree with you lots of times,
Well, how
but
about
some I
that?
don't.
Thank you. Appreciate that. You're not supposed to agree all the time, by the way. That's what makes it fun.
That's right. That's right. It's a controversial show, and I like that.
Cool.
Mike, real quick on this, about the hockey game last night. As a reference, I had an aunt in Brooklyn, and when she met somebody special, she would say, "A different type altogether, darling." and that refers, you can probably relate to that coming from the Northeast yourself, right?
Yep.
Anyway, regarding the hockey players, they're a different type, Mike, altogether. They're not spoiled, stimulated, whimpering type of athletes. Most of them have grown up grassroots and appreciate everywhere they have been and everything that they do. So you've got a person who is injured, and by God, they're going to play for that team no matter what their injury is and how bad it is. So it's a different mentality altogether than many of the athletes, and I love our teams here, believe me, especially the Mariners, which I'm hoping they do well. But anyway, that's my comment on the hockey players. They got a really different mentality right from the start.
I love the call. Thank you, Stanley. You sound a lot like Paul Simon is all I can think of as you're talking. You have the same cadence. Maybe it's the Brooklyn thing from that side of your family. I don't know. I appreciate that about hockey players, too. What I'm trying not to do, though, and I'm really trying hard at this, I'm trying not to take the love and reverence I have for the culture of hockey and apply it to any other sport. Sports are different. This is going to be another kind of edict or whatever it is you want to call it, something that I'm going to say a lot. The sports are different. We don't need to make them all the same. It's okay for basketball to have a different ethos than hockey. And you can choose to like one more than the other. That's fine. But I don't need to put one down to build one up. I think that's okay. Basketball can be a lot about flash. It can be about what it's like when you dunk in someone's face. It's okay to talk trash. I love that. That's why I grew up loving playing and watching basketball. That's okay. Football can be about one thing and hockey about another and baseball about a third. That's okay. Baseball can be slower than football. It's supposed to be. Baseball can be a pastime. I don't criticize it for that. Do they constantly have to adjust? Yeah, of course. There was a time where hockey got too slow. What did they do? They took out the trap. It worked great. Now the game is fast again. It's fun. That's okay. Hockey can have fighting. Football doesn't have fighting. That's okay. Games can be different. Sports can be different. And honestly, I truly do love that about sports. It's why I appreciate golf and hockey and baseball and football and all the different sports in different ways. 866-979-3776. Let me grab our buddy Roger in Tacoma. Good morning, sir. How are you?
How you doing, Mike? How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. It's good to hear from you. Good to hear your voice.
Yeah. So listen, man, John Schneider, we're asking John Schneider to do something in one off season, fix the offensive line that he hasn't been able to do in 15 years. Okay. And it's not like he hasn't used premium resources. He's used first-round picks, second-round picks, third-round picks to almost no or at least limited success.
Well, the first-round picks, wouldn't you say he's had success with his first-round picks?
Only when he picks in the top 10. Okay,
James Carpenter was. I think you got to give him credit on Carpenter. Carpenter was pretty good.
James Carpenter was a useful offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Okay, he was a bona fide NFL lineman. He had a decent career. Do you know the last first or second team All-Pro player he drafted, John Schneider drafted, was Bobby Wagner? I'm talking about not a special teamer.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, I'm going to say something a little bit bold here. Jody Allen, you were bold when you approved the Russell Wilson trade. You were bold when you moved on from Pete Carroll. I'm asking Jody to make one more bold move. Fire John Schneider. Go fishing in the Baltimore organization or in the Philly organization for their top personnel guy. I just want to put a new set of eyes on the problem. I do not trust that he's going to be able to fix this line because he has never fixed the line. And if you don't have the line, you don't got jack.
Yeah, Roger, I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, that's not going to happen right now. I'm sure you know that,
It's not
right?
gonna happen now, but I do know that right now. But that's where my trust has been burned.
Yeah, I think that here's what I would say on that. I understand why you don't feel trusting right now, and all the facts you spit about when the last All Pros were, all of those are perfectly fair because they're facts. I think that what we're seeing now is John's opportunity to do this a different way. And you do hear him say a little bit, well, it's not just the acquisition, it's the development, and they're bringing in some new people, right? There's a new offensive line coach and a new run game coordinator and a new run game specialist, and obviously the new coach last year. All of those things together are with the goal in mind of trying to get more out of the players that he acquires. If that doesn't work, then at some point it's clearly the acquisition and he just isn't able to bring in the right players, and that'll be a conversation. I don't know whether I'm ready to say it yet.
I wouldn't. I would be a little disappointed in Jody Allen if she did what he's calling for, because you just made a change and you haven't seen it through yet.
Mm-hmm.
And we also don't know. Who knows where he was getting his information, but Colin Cowherd used to say that Pete had quite a bit of influence on the players that John Schneider drafted.
Yep.
So don't you want to take a little time here to see what he does with McDonald when maybe he has a little bit more control? And we talked to Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike, the show that's on before us. Remember the national view? He said you guys kind of have what the Eagles have, right?
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. But to Roger's point, that national view can be colored by what happened ages ago as opposed to what's happening now.
Sure.
And his point is a good one about the lack of, top tier, top end talent. And yeah, I think there are some other mistakes. Again, I'm going to keep going back to Jalen Carter versus Witherspoon. I've gotten a bunch of texts, by the way, here over the last few days of people saying, oh, where was Salk on that then? I'm sure he was hated the idea of Carter then. No, that's not true. I was very much interested in them taking Jalen Carter. Very much so.
But I always go back to, I think the Eagles had an infrastructure that supported taking Carter more.
That may or may not be true.
They had a locker room that I think could support it if he did turn out to be a bad apple, whereas I don't think the Seahawks were in that place.
All of those things may or may not be true, but I certainly wanted him then. And this is not a Johnny-come-lately argument where now that he's really good, I'm coming around saying, oh, you should have taken him. I wanted him then. 866-979-3776. Let me try Steve in, where is that? McClary? Where's McClary?
Oh, you get calls from Elma all the time. We're right by there.
You're by Elma? I've been to Elma.
If you go to the coast, you'll see it. It's the town right in front of
All right.
Elma.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I don't know. I didn't know about McClary. Appreciate it. What's on your mind?
Hey, not a problem. Hey, a couple things. First, I heard a lot of talk about how Cleveland has this team that they rely on small ball, and they get close to the end or to the playoffs, and it's like they say, "Oh, well, they can never compete because they don't have the horses to be able to do that." And so, anyway, there was that.
Yeah, Cleveland has probably been the best example. I said earlier, thanks for the phone call, Steve, and I'm glad to now know where McClary is. I did say earlier that no one else is really trying the small ball thing, and that's a good point. Cleveland's probably trying it as much as anybody else is in the league, and they have fallen short. So did the A's. Right? I mean, again, so did the A's. For all of the Moneyball stuff the A's did and the Rays did, they've all fallen short. That's true. I mean, if you want to win the title, you got to get all the way to the very, very end and have that strategy work all the way through. And in a bunch of those cases, they just didn't have enough talent to get it done. I will say this, the Mariners have better pitching than Cleveland does. And if they're able to play the same type of small ball with the Mariners pitching, especially their starting pitching, Cleveland's obviously got a ridiculous pen, but with their starting pitching, that's an opportunity to carry you even farther. And so I think that's what you've got to hope for if you're hoping that this Mariner idea works.
The other thing with Cleveland, too, is along with the small ball, what kind of differentiates them is their approach is so good. They draw so many walks and just don't strike out. The Mariners, well, they strike out.
They do. They certainly have in the past. Here's another difference between the Mariners and the Guardians. Payroll. The Mariners' payroll is significantly higher than the Guardians by some $40 million plus. The Mariners have been roughly in the middle. Last year, they were 16th. The Guardians were 23rd. Like, there's a big difference in payroll between what the Mariners... I know people don't want to hear that because the Mariners spend zero, according to most people out there, and they're the worst organization at spending in the league and the whole thing. They're in the middle, and Cleveland's not. Cleveland's near the bottom. So hopefully that is another way in which the Mariners can try to leverage what they're doing to have a little bit more success. 866-979-3776. Let me try Zach, who's in Seattle. Good morning, Zach.
Hi, I'm pretty excited for spring training.
How come?
And I wanted to talk about see if you guys would bring up Mitch Garver because I think he's prime candidate for a bounce back this year.
Well, we've talked a little bit about that. Thanks for the phone call, Zach. What is it? Odd years, right, for Mitch? Even years he's bad, odd years he's good?
That's correct. Here, I'll try to pull it up.
The numbers are pretty crazy. I mean, he has just been an every other year kind of guy. And maybe, a change of just kind of another year in the same place will help Mitch this year. I think that's possible. He's not that old.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
2019, this was his best year. 995 OPS.
Yeah.
2020, 511. 2021, 875. 2022, 702. 2023, 870. 2024, 627.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's crazy.
What if he puts up a 785 OPS this year?
That would be awesome.
And he could do it. He would be, at that point, probably rotating between a DH position and your backup catcher. You're probably playing him more at catcher to get Cal off his feet.
Yeah.
Dude, he puts up it doesn't have to be 900 OPS in order for Mitch Garver to be worth it. He's got to be something close to what he was. You don't think Mitch Garver could come back and have a 775 OPS? Of course he could.
No, I think he could.
I don't mean you. I don't mean you personally don't think so. Okay. It's the royal you. I think he could absolutely do that. Yeah, he's one of the guys that I actually have some level of faith in looking better than he did last year because that's kind of what he's been over the course of his career. All right, let's try Kevin in Everson. Good morning, Kevin.
Morning, Salk. Hey, just to start with, do you know where Everson is by chance?
I was going to ask you where Everson was, but then I was worried that I'd asked you before and I forgot. And so where is Everson?
So Everson's up north of Bellingham by about 20 minutes. It's right along the Canadian border.
Oh, okay. So what, sort of east of Blaine in that area?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
yep.
So I've been up to Birch Bay and Blaine. I love that area. It's beautiful, but I've not really gone east of there. I got to go up to Richmond, BC for a girls hockey tournament here in a couple of weeks. So maybe I'll see if I can kind of figure out where Everson is on that trip.
Yeah, so if you go through the Sumas border crossing into Abbotsford, you'll drive right through Everson. So take a look.
All right, we'll see what it looks like. What's on your mind today?
So today, I really wanted to jump into Adam Jude's article because that rolled out this morning talking about Manny Acta's outlook on these young bats coming up through the org. And I, along with every other pissed-off Mariners fan, have looked at this offseason and the previous 2 or 3 going, what are you doing? You haven't done anything with free agency to take advantage of this pitching staff.
Mm-hmm.
But Adam's article got me thinking, and I hope you bring this up if you get a chance with Jerry down at spring training. Are they ultimately looking at this like the Astros a couple of years ago? Well, it'd be more like a decade ago now. They've got these bats coming up. Are they saving money to indeed sign this pitching staff to extensions, knowing these young bats are coming, and then they could ultimately extend some of those guys too.
It's a good question. It's a good question, Kevin. And Jerry's talked about that. I mean, they've said that is definitely their goal. The problem is just saying you want to sign someone and even throwing enough money at them. If they don't want to sign, it takes two people in order to shake hands on that agreement. The player's got to sign the contract. And as of yet, they've not had any luck with Cal, with Logan, with George, with any of those guys in getting them to sign a long-term extension. Will they? Maybe. I'm not saying they won't, but they haven't yet. So we'll see. It's a good question, though. 866-979-3776. Try Mark and Brennan. What's up, Mark? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Mike. Good to talk to you. Just two quick things. We all have guys that we get tired of on the Mariners team. And, it was Seager at the end of his career for me. It was France. Now it's Crawford. Crawford is not going to be a guy that's going to get the Mariners where they want to go. The other thing is Mariners should have traded Brian Wu. To me, he's a James Paxton. He's not durable. He's not going to be a great pitcher for the Mariners long term in my mind. And we know everybody that has a fastball, sooner or later the league catches up to it, and they're gonna hit it. So thanks for the time, Mike. I appreciate it.
All right, so 2 points there. The first on JP, you're just sort of done with him. I don't really know what to say on that one. JP had a bad year last year. If he comes back and has a great year, everyone's going to say, hey, look at that. And if it's a second bad year, then you got to imagine that's going to be the end of the JP era. So he's just a guy that they really need more from this year than they got a year ago. The Brian Wu question, I want Lyle's input on that as well, because I know Lyle's a major Brian Wu fan. I don't know, writing a guy off at 24, now 25, that would be hard for me. And I think it's also fair to say that, look, he'd come off Tommy John surgery when he was younger. He had a minor injury that kept him out the beginning of last year. Other than that, he's pretty healthy last year. In fact, it was his healthiest year.
I'm not really sure how you're writing a guy off with a 2.89 ERA from last year. He was a 2.5 WAR guy in 120 innings. And by the way, for all the problems this pitching staff had on the road last year, the one guy who did not have issues on the road and still pitch well on the road, Brian Wu.
Yeah, and he does have secondary pitches. I mean, there's a bunch of reasons to like Brian Wu and be excited about what he's capable of. I think the other problem you have is if you turned around and tried to trade him this offseason, I think you would have made other teams very suspicious. And I think if they're saying, wait a minute, this guy obviously has ridiculous stuff. The only reason you'd be trading him is because he's an injury risk. Well, why do we want to take on your injury risk? So I don't know that the value would have been there the way the caller thinks.
And honestly, once August rolled around, maybe even a little shorter or maybe even a little sooner than that, he didn't really have injury problems. He was going 7 innings every night. He was dominating lineups.
Yeah.
Those injuries he had at the beginning of the year were all kind of minor things that it seemed like he was just working through, and then something clicked for him where he was able to stay on the field.
This is a big year for him, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a year, if he can show and stay healthy all year long and pitch deep into games, if he can do that this year, I think everyone's going to believe it a whole lot more than they did after last year. Because there's no doubt he's filthy. But I understand what the caller's saying. He still has that type of he's still the type of pitcher where after the great success, even after every game, you're like, was that fluky? What happened there? And I think one more year of it is going to really show you it's not fluky. This kid's got real legitimate stuff, and he really is learning how to pitch as well.
Let me make one last quick point for the guy who is not sold on him. He threw more strikes last year than George Kirby, a.k.a. the king of not walking anybody.
That's crazy. That is quite a stat. I like it.
He was 99th percentile in walk rate.
Well, he's one of the guys we want to try to talk to next week as we head down to spring training. Can't wait. We're there next week. Wyman and Bob will be there the following week. And just excited to be around it. See this team in person. Smell the spring training air. Feel what these guys are like this season. And we want to talk to Logan. We want to talk to Brian Wu. We want to talk to Julio. We want to talk to Dan. We want to talk to, the whole group. I'd like to talk to Kevin Seitzer, quite frankly. Some of the young kids.
A little less creepy around Julio this year?
Doubtful. No, we'll probably amp up the creepy factor
kind of
with Julio.
embarrasses me.
All right, we got to go. Bump and Stacy are coming up next, so stick around for them. We will talk to you Monday morning, bright and early from Peoria. Woo! Till then, the hay is in the barn. See you, everybody.
Get to the chopper!
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Red Sox star Rafael Devers says he's not giving up his third base spot for the newly signed Alex Bregman. What is the real headline?
Real headline, would you like to not give up playing third base in Seattle? They could put together a package that would entice the Red Sox, but Boston just signed Devers to a long extension. I think cooler heads are going to prevail. Bregman is a far better fielder than Devers is at third base. Rafael, my man, you got to be okay with playing DH.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
That spice is 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Hi, my name is Khadijah, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick of the chicken. It's just the right amount of heat, and it gets me excited. And then, pro tip, add that cilantro lime sauce. It cools it down. If the sandwich is at 100, the cilantro lime takes it to 200. It makes me want to, tell all my friends and family.
Order a Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich and a Diet Dr. Pepper on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists,